多少个人了？7800个。那么晚上好，各位宝贝们。晚上好，晚上好。距离开始还有2分钟。这次他们开的晚，以前他们都早10分钟开的。今天只是提前了5分钟。这次直播有掉落，有3个 format， 但是看我不会有掉落的，你就去看 Twitch。哦，我有声音吧？我开着声音，开的 OK。这个玩意儿有的时候会莫名其妙没掉。然后直播结束后会有400杜卡币的一个警报，还有一个 Umbra Forma 黑符码，那2个都是非常不错的，都推荐去打一下。400杜卡币相当于4个金吊，或者4415金吊。玉子安，我这里2点哦，这个我是知道的，因为12个小时的时差嘛，与美东时间，慢慢熬吧。如果你想看的话，应该也就1个多小时吧，可能会稍微多一些。我觉得这次可能会讲一些东西吧，新战甲是肯定能看见的。就 Stynex 嘛，然后还有啥？我老说可能会看到那个爆炸武器悟空的削弱，然后还有那个下个大版本更新 Protea 我们已经看到了，那个华丽外观皮。哦，哎呀，把眼镜擦一下，让我感觉炸逼。悟空，我老说能消，它不一定真消，好吧？只是我老在这个上乱说而已。怎么还没开？宝贝儿好，你想我了吗？你别老好啊！今天晚上可能不能播了啊，或者是明天晚上可能不能播了，或者明天下午可能不能播了。我得复习一下，后天有个考试啊，不是我，对你们来说是明天，对我来说是明天。我明天有个考试，我期末考在明天，离谱！周末期末考。安安宝贝儿，但没事，我们不用太担心，我不是很担心。音乐都播完了，该开了吧？啊，第1开始梦游了，是又有新的开发者直播吗？是的，这是第163期开发者直播。去 Twitch 观看这个开发者直播的话，会得到3个 format。开发者直播结束后是400杜卡币的警报，还有一个黑符码。
Hello everyone, welcome. It's DevStream 163. We're back. This is our first
Community. Oh, Megan 升职了是吗 ？Community Director.
New faces, old faces.
Who you calling old?
Myself. Before we jump into that, we're going to do housekeeping. We'll do a little bit of introduction.
来了一些新同志和老同志。看来 UZ 是个学校，不是。The Very 剧场可能更新了一些东西。哦，你可以看，对，因为上一次开发者这不上一次 TennoCon 他有些人看没到，所以说这次又开了。
Either or, it's available. You can jump on in and check that out. You have about 5-ish
Lead
minutes
character artist, art director, community director, creative director, game designer. 哦，他 Rebecca 连妈拿了Steve 的位置。
Bringing Bombastine to life. Those VO lines are incredible. The tableaus, everything about it. We want you to experience.
我们可以看到看到些东西。
Jump in game now.
哦，就是说那个。 就是说，
I'm already in. I'm in game. I have obeyed you before any of the.
Tiger Stripe's here.
Oh, there you go.
Wow, nostalgia. All right, welcome to the stream. Before we jump into housekeeping, let's do some introductions. We're gonna start at the end.
Hello.
Everyone.
Are you introducing me first, or am I introducing
myself?
Yeah. My name is Greg. I'm a lead character artist on Warframe, and it's my first time here, I believe. Right? So this on the dev stream, I think.
这个是人物设计师。
Hallowed grounds here really wanted furniture, and I feel like I finally made it. Finally made it. Yeah.
There you go. I'm Carrie. I have been here one other time, so I must have made an awesome impression.
然后这个是艺术设计师。
And yeah, I'm the art director on Warframe.
啊，或者是艺术总监。
Megan Everett. I'm the community director on Warframe. Thanks guys. Thanks guys.
哦，应该是总监哈， 不是说设计师， 是我的问题。
Rebecca Ford, I'm the creative director on Warframe.
Rebecca 升成那个创意总监了。
We got lots to talk to you about. I've been here for almost 11 years now, and this is my 163rd dev stream. I think I actually missed one. It's my 162nd.
And then I was on it.
Yeah, so we did a swap back. Tenno, this is going to be a very.
然后 Megan 现在是社区总监了。
Hopefully a very good one.
这次有的白嫖嘛，3个 forma 宝贝儿，然后看完了之后有400杜卡币和1个黑符码的警报。
If you like long dev streams and you like to hear me rant, you're gonna do a lot of that today.
What's our code for when I can stop you from ranting?
You gotta hit me a little bit.
然后 Pablo 是首席游戏设计师。
From memory, but today I had to actually bring a paper because there's just so much I have to talk about that it's just it's gonna be hard.
你看有很多要聊的，你看他们指的那个数量就行了。
Expect a lot.
Expect a lot. Get comfy. There's drops.
There's drops. We do have Twitch drops. 3 forma
对
built.
，3个 forma。
If you are watching the stream, make sure you're linked up appropriately. And then of course we have
就是35白金。
One is a Umbra forma blueprint, and the other is 400 ducats, because as you know, Barracuteer is bringing his big inventory in the name of crossplay. So he's all synced across the board, which is amazing. But he does have a lot of really awesome stuff that he's been bringing, so we thought, let's give you some ducats. So gift of the Lotus Alert after the stream. And then we will have a Chorus Platinum giveaways, a Core Prime Access. I feel like we should do a Platinum giveaway right now, Dean. Okay. Really just throw that wrench in there. Yay! Oh, Greg, you're in the spot. You have to read it.
Oh boy. Oh.
You're the name reader.
Yeah,
Pressure.
whoever's close. Oh boy.
Oh boy. Lolicon God.
Dear God.
Lolicon God， 我靠！
No, don't ask.
Don't ask. Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
all
not
good.
gonna say it again.
你如果你不懂什么意思啊，就是萝莉控的神。 Lolicon God.
1,000 platinum. Please whisper the Warframe.
萝莉控的神赢得了1000白金。
Platform you play Warframe on, it will get you your 1,000 platinum.
太顶了，太顶了，这名字。
Great first read. Appreciate it. It's a
Yeah,
great name.
Like based
Well,
on the furniture position, you're triangulated close to the.
我一时间竟然不知道该说什么。
Yeah.
This is now your responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've taken it over.
It's like my prescription. It's not that good.
我一时间竟然不知道该说什么。
We can also, we got contacts, we got glasses.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. This stream, as we said, is all about Veilbreaker. We're going to be deep diving into that. We have the Stein
真的太牛逼了。
reveal. But
哎呀，
before
好
we
久
jump
不见，
into
好久
all
不见，
that,
宝贝儿。
like I said, we are going to rerun the Deviri Amphitheater experience momentarily. Make sure you're in game.
会的和不会的都中，不会了。
Ready, Reb?
I am ready.
All right, Dean, you can go to gameplay if you so wish.
啊，这个是现在的那个。
And you're about to be teleported.
Oh, the theater has begun. Yeah, so if you recall at TennoCon,
这是个啥皮肤啊？ 哦 ，Revenant 的那
and
个。
all the weirdness coming with it, which Greg and Carrie and myself and Pablo worked on, as much as a impression as possible. So this theater show.
对，你可以去这里看，应该是现在游戏里应该就有。
Due to technical difficulties at TennoCon with the servers and amongst other things, we wanted to give it another go. So if you're in game, we can just kick it off.
All right, here we go. He's about to have his intro.
Welcome, one and all, vagabonds and wastrels, nobles and nobodies, tatterdemalions, tramps and troubadours.
啊，不过如果你在游戏的话，应该是中文。
Without equal among the trillion wonders of the ever-giving void.
第一项偷懒战争不用上色，太真实了。 但我觉得这其实都上完了，我觉得任务结束之后，这个地方可能会有颜色。现在没有颜色而已。这里是怎样的玩家可以进去吗？是封测吧？现在谁都可以进去吧？地应该把那个中继站打开了，现在地球应该有一个中继站，你可以去中继站那里看。
We will go to the next tableau, and I think our approach with these was to give our very wild characters the scene to.
不是封测，地好久没开封测啊，不能说封测，应该叫公测。
You would have been writing beside something specific as your
Our decks are not flawed, mortal flesh and blood. They are legends given forth. A pure ideal.
A pure ideal.
Shaped by our king's will.
所以说在虚空平原里 ，Dax 士兵是仿生，哎，卡了，是仿生机械。哦，然后更新的广告，这个我管不了，这个我没法控制。
getting there.
啊，这什么新角色呢？好久没玩了。
Are treated to what your ears have already feasted upon. Behold, Lucinia.
Lucinia.
Her voice blesses all in Deviri. Through her song, the
她的声音保佑
soundly
Deviri.
deep, untroubled.
哦，就歌姬呗。歌姬。
And then of course we had our opera singer, Lucinia, as we called her, who, you had to come up with a way that a Duviri opera singer would look.
Absolutely. Bright red dress, of course.
Of course.
Can never get to trouble when you have giant pieces of cloth coming off your wrist. What could go wrong?
There's no technical problems with cloth ever.
Ever.
哦，还有马，为啥这只马这么大呀？
A memory clad in a steel dream, swifter than bow shots, more loyal than a steadfast soldier's heart. Run true, noble Caith.
And, when you can't have arc wings, perhaps we must have our beautiful horses, which were also a 2019 trailer tease, but now you got to see them in their full glory at TennoCon, which included.
啊，这马真的这么大吗？
Really are a bonkers design and a fun thing to riff off of as well.
Absolutely.
Teshin Dax.
哦 ，Teshin 居然是这样回归的。 一直觉得大家要带积木说创口溃烂，我就连击叠不起来。那就不带创口溃烂，带漂移接触。里面东西好像被放大了，确实。确实。
Perhaps. I'm more nervous than this.
这全都是剧。
Perhaps.
Dax 肯定没这么大，那个不是 Dax，Teshin 肯定没这么大，所以说确实被放大了。
We bet.
向天空看。哦 ，Titanic entities， 感觉跟那个跟哥斯拉一样，泰坦的存在。 还有这大嗨宝贝儿，好久没看台了，好久没来梦游了。
What can go wrong?
What could be the largest model in the history of our assets?
Well, I mean, we've done buildings that are kind of in there, but I mean, we haven't had to move and coil around. And
我其实以为这虫子会更长的。
It's actually kind of refreshing to see these assets because this is a blend of assets from years ago and some more recent assets. So it's really rewarding to see Duviri actually come to life finally.
这次是不是没有奖励？有3个
Getting
form
all in the amphitheater, and you know, if you didn't catch TennoCon and everything we showed, you can check out the gameplay from our YouTube channel.
啊，这个 Frost 还挺好看的。
What the Duviri Paradox intro is going to be. But this was our rerun of the theater.
For the people that worked on it, I do appreciate everybody having a chance to actually get to walk around and see the event.
Indeed.
可是 Twitch 没有掉榜呀啊
And thus concludes the theater rerun where you got to see all
我看一下
the
宝贝儿，稍等。
assets in game. Hopefully everything was going
这不有
well.
吗
And if not, you can catch it on stream.
Drops。
All right.
Dunzo Funzo.
Dunzo Funzo.
All right.
What next, Meg?
What next? Wouldn't that be exciting to say that we have the full Steinax anime? Like I said, this whole dev stream
Steinax
is
来了。
very focused on Veilbreaker. You're gonna get
今天
first look
输
at
出好快啊，
all the
看来
stuff
确实有好多
we've
东西要
worked
讲
on。Veilbreaker, 'cause I think the only thing we've ever
居然没有瞎聊，也可能是那个
Yeah.
Yeah,
天天
tiny
在那
little
捣乱
trailer
的
and
那几
a
个都
tiny
没有
little-
来。
Trailer.
Part of what you're
Yeah.
2 tiny little trailers, and you're
Yeah.
about to see a much longer.
Yeah, so I think just
Video.
things to keep in mind is people probably didn't expect something like Veilbreaker at TennoCon. It's going to be the update that brings you our 50th Warframe Steinax. And like Megan said, this update is going to be the focus for the rest of the stream, from new content to revised content, and it's going to be a bit long, so get comfy,
Yeah.
but
破障者
the appetite
马上就要
for
聊，
Warframe
然后有很多的新东西和
Kind of crazy.
Megan's going to eat
翻新的东西。
Steinax.
这个翻新的东西让我觉得很可怕。
This is what-
地地地地，
Roughly 5-minute if you're an anime nerd like myself. Sit back, relax, get
给
comfy,
翻新
snack.
地地地
'Cause
地。
here is.
No, don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere.
Do not get a
Imaginary
snack.
snack. Imaginary snack. Enjoy the Steinax anime.
对，这是 Steinax 的
He saved
介绍，
us. Me and my brother, orphans.
反正是动画版的。
Brought us to this paradise to join the others
是好诡异啊！
until we came of age. Until he summoned us. He called it Ascension Day.
Ascension Day， 哈，这次送什么东西？3个 form 吗？
Darrow went to him. Now, it's my time.
好，他向我们揭示一个地方吧。
My dear child, your ascension is at hand. Fear not. All the chosen before you have played their part in my vision. I have something beautiful to show you.
Liar. Where's my brother?
Clever Aria, that fire, that singular determination, mine to wield. Behold, Leviathan. Your brother is here, somewhere, like all the other chosen.
游戏里直播间说什么都没有，就是什么都没有，它只是个演示台。
Get in.
I'm not alone.
好，我没看懂哎。
It's over.
A warframe. A relic. I will have to show you the future myself.
"有种动漫的感觉啊，虽然它本来就是动漫，我指的是那种动漫的概念。
Darrow.
就说什么有个很厉害的人，然后这个社区每一段时间都要向这个人献祭一个人啊，或者这个怪献祭一个人。我是这么理解的，但动漫不都这样吗？技能还挺帅的 ，Stynax。
Goodbye, Darrow.
这双刀我看起来像双矛啊。霸王城市太真实了。
We'll keep you close, Tenno.
啊？哦。掉包啊！直播掉包啊！不能说直播掉，网络掉包是我的问题。星宝76斩的 Stynax 太真实了。50th Warframe free for limited time. Veilbreaker launching September 9月份 ，OK， 这个没有什么奇怪。
Right. Hope you enjoyed that. We worked with Passion Paris to make that anime, and it turned out
潘森啊，我上次就这么说的。
Like it's so wildly different from anything that we've ever really done.
但是这个风格好奇怪哦。
And we also
真的这个
have
风格好奇怪。
a limited time code for a Stynax display to celebrate this incredible anime. If you do the word Stynax on all platforms, promo code or in-game in the market, you can get yourself a display commissioned by the incredible Karu. So thank you, Karu, for working with us on a Stynax display. 48 hours, don't miss it. You can get yourself a display.
Right now on the public build. So I want to explain a little bit about Stynax.
Yes,
so
please.
he is our 50th Warframe. This is the 50th.
你现在如果在游戏里输入 Stynax 这个代码，可以获得一个什么东西？
As you can see, Excalibur being the original swordsman.
终于出了一个实物图。
You know, I don't even know how to. We call him Hoplite internally for a long time, but he's that spear and shield fellow.
Spear and shield.
That's what, am I wrong?
Sure.
你会获得一个 display 展示。
A little differently. So what we're
你
going
获
to
得
do
一个
is
Stynax 应该是
for
传
the
递展
launch
示
of。 Veilbreaker, if you log in to the first 2 weeks of the update, so it's going to come out in September, you'll know the date, and from that date, when we announce it, you can get Hoplite.
这个看着还挺帅的。
Off to a good start. Stynax completely free, just for logging in. After that,
Stynax 是登录免费送的。
in the market for platinum, or where you actually earn him in game, which we'll talk about later. But if you just
Stynax 是登录免费送的，因为它是第50个战甲，所以说你只需要在那段时间登录便可得到那个 Stynax。
Very much an occasion worth celebrating.
It's a celebration of the 50.
50 Warframes.
我不知道武器的会不会
So
送
that's，how that's gonna work.
但是这个不需要
So if you
干，
want
你
to
登录
get
就
your
需要
hands on
送
him without having to use platinum
那以
or
后
go
怎么
through
办？
the
以后可能就是白金
separate
购买
free,
吧，
you can earn him easy.
强制你白金购买的战甲。
The freer the
Freer
free.
path.
Yes.
The free path, freer
Yeah,
path.
there's free.
Free to
and
play
then
and
there's
super free.
Incredible value. We one of those like little.
free.
我希望它是整个大包免费送的。
Yeah,
开始做梦了，真的。
games of service, we really
直接送我个大包，立省600P。
terminology for it. So there's free.
With 25% more free.
Yeah.
直接喂给 Helmet 啊，这一个什么魔鬼，
Actually,
真的。
Speaking of Stynax, now is actually a good
要
time
哪
to
段
talk
时间？
about
就是 Veilbreaker 上线的这段时间。Veilbreaker 上线之后，你登录，你便可获得 Stynax。Stynax 一上线，你上线你就会获得 Stynax。
context, but we have a whole bunch of assets as well from concept to the modeling work that Greg did. But just as a
但是之后版本更新了之后，可能就取消了。
First, we're going to show the
对，我没有听清楚最多少，反正更新了之后你上线就有。
There's Hoplite, like you said, the internal name Hoplite.
I want see now you know where I got it from. Don't blame me, blame Keith.
然后它的计划名字叫 Hoplite。
You know, I actually looked back at
应该可以刷的吧？应该我觉得可能就直接那个商店掉落让你送商店掉落，你直接用蓝图做，有可能。
And obviously a lot of things happen in between, so this is how far back, at least on my end, and I bet that concept existed even before.
白送代表是送曹魏和那个反应堆啊，不要忘了，宝贝们。
Okay, so yeah, so I think the early
曹魏和反应堆就直接给了，
as far as, you know,
那就不需要投资啥，你直接往里面砸 forma 就行。我可能连 forma 都不会砸。
And Tenocon obviously, and I think actually it's funny. I did not know that this was the 50th Warframe until it was, you know, up until maybe a few months ago. So I think that really ramped up the pressure back then.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. If people don't like this, it's your fault, Greg.
Yes.
Or
that's why it's free.
One of the two.
Someone's fault. But it is free, so you can't complain, right? That's the rules.
That's right.
And
This is
exclamation
what's
point.
interesting. Oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say exclamation point Steinax isn't gonna get you anything in chat, by the way.
It's hoplite actually.
It's actually oh no. No, you Sheldon. No, it's not gonna get you anything in chat. It's in game or warframe.com/promo code. Nothing in chat ain't gonna get you nothing. What were you gonna say, Pablo?
This one was interesting because it was a 50th
我一会儿记着，我那个去 Warframe 里面输入一下 Steinax 看能获得啥。他会介绍技能会，之前说会。
Because they need to do the animation and not be too. I mean, the animation is not like super.
之前说会。
Exactly how the powers work, but you need to be on the ballpark.
还挺，真的，我觉得还蛮帅的。我不知道他那个另类替换头盔是啥。
Because the animation takes.
不知道他们会不会弄的真的跟那个骑士头盔那种弄一个铠甲头盔，如果是的话，我觉得还蛮帅的。
Because I think that the anime came out in the middle of us still finalizing the model and everything, so it was a bit of what would you call it, parallel development rather than a series where, you know, multiple things are progressing at the same time and one influences the other. But it's also this animation is fantastic. Again, that's a weird thing to see.
Cray 不怎么说话耶。
Like one medium affect the other, and also it's kind of being in a walled garden of just working on, you know, all the character art stuff. It's kind of refreshing to be able to come out of it and see all of this other really awesome stuff.
Steinax 无效代码，好像不是这么拼的，宝贝儿。 好像不是这么拼的，你这是 Steinax， 这是 Steinax。
Well, speaking of modeling, we have a couple more images from the helmet. Steinax has helmet, alt helmet that I believe you worked on. This is the first one.
Yeah, actually, I have to give credit to.
哦，这确实有另类替换图，哇，这个图感觉好怪。
all the alternate helmets were made not by me. I think this one was roughed in, but we had another really talented artist on our team take over.
我比较喜欢这个。
Can we reveal that there's more?
Yeah, I'll show them in game.
这个有点，不能说方有点长，这个圆一点的好看。
Yeah, we might have a few.
啊，这个也是另外一个设计嘛。
Yeah, hell yeah.
So we had to kind of explore the theme. This
还是无效。
hoplite, this Greek
Steinax， 我不知道怎么拼的，我已经忘了，说实话。
That's a much better name.
一会儿你再试大写。
So we had to really dig deep and figure out, you know, what those alternate helmets alternate helmets look
我
like.
看这怎么拼的。
And so I think, I think they did a great job on those.
And we have another image that is a nice 360 every angle you could possibly.
Steinax。
That's right. So in another case of, I think, working in parallel where we had the concept and illustration team having to get started on the Prex cards.
你可以试大小写。
Is that? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I?
No, it's segue.
Okay.
Don't worry, you're
Okay.
perfect.
Whew.
Ah, there it is.
And so that's something that working in parallel.
他说输入会有一个。
You know, in between the concept.
希望不是我翻译错了，不然显得我是个智障。
We had to make sure that we kind of coordinate and, you know.
试太多次被禁了，太真实了。
You know, views.
哦，下面有 Steinax。 有了，所以说你们试到了。
And I call it Eric. Eric did a great job on that. So
Yeah.
Eric,
He's no stranger. He's on the art panel.
He's
Actually, yeah, people might recognize Carrie from the art panel this year as well with Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I think it's gameplay.
有了要全大写 ，OK，
Show style.
所以确实有。 但我不知道是长啥样。
Oh, this is the perfect timing. Oh, look at
so
him.
good.
Pull up.
Such a chat.
I did not see this.
这个头盔其实可
I
以
saw
原版
today.
都
No,
可以。
Oh my
what is
god.
this is legal?
Yeah,
That is
no,
Capture by
incredible.
Jeff.
Really fills you
哦，
with
这是啥？
Capture by Jeff.
Yeah, that's
Exactly,
Jeff's last
Jeff
contribution to Warframe was mocapping this.
He has to keep it.
这个就是长毛吧
Yeah, I know. He's
？100
like, none of you can pull off a one chin up like I can.
12
So
pick up
Stynex
4
and team, Pablo and the team have put the kit together, which we're going to get to, but I'm just.
哦，他以后会写弹药最大值嘞。
He is going to be launching with a void shell skin, so you know everyone that gets their hands on
哦
Stynex
，Stynex 会有一个虚空之铠的皮肤，
and he's going to have. I just need him to do that idle animation again. So I'm just
26
fill the airtime until he
暴击几率 2.2 的倍率，24触发，
So because
总
he
计
did the
60%是穿刺，20%是切割，然后20%是冲击。
maybe 1 or 2 more pieces of lore in the Levirian itself, so they complement each other really nicely.
它还有一个范围攻击
I know, I just need to
radio
watch this.
attack。
It's so good. Anyway, so this is I'm just gonna go bursting because why not? Classic legacy weapon. This is Stynex. That's his agile animation set. We can also throw on the noble set. And yeah, we can get a closer look thanks to this zoom technology.
它这个头我觉得还挺好
Man,
看
that。was one of my favorite stream moments, by the way. When we
You
segued
can
into that.
zoom. Oh,
Oh.
Greg, let's take a look at your modeling
Yeah,
work,
Greg.
shall
Any
Any
inspiration? Any inspiration?
I have to
感觉
maintain.
跟霍根同源的，标枪差不多都
So
都
Stynex
都差不多吧。
is really fun, really awesome, and we are going to be doing some gameplay.
所以它加了盾。
You know, fashion frame them a bit first. Or wait.
可恶，它加了盾，但是它能看到基础300的戏，然后639上完应该是 Prime。
Going into so we can talk about color harmony.
Oh,
boy.
I'm not familiar with that term.
Prime 之后，
We know.
Is there a feeling lucky button somewhere?
There
We just
is,
log
random.
right
There
in.
is. It's the random color. And
Yeah. How much random can you tolerate before you say just get on with the show? Because
I mean, everything's looking pretty good.
No, that's the beauty of it, right?
yeah,
You make great selections.
Oh,
Greg.
blue.
Everything
yeah, maybe I'll
works.
throw in.
哦，它有2个华丽外观，
Ooh.
An alt
特殊
helmet.
头盔。
We'll go with this one. Let's take a look. Oh yeah.
A little purple?
Yeah. Now we might not be launching with all of them, so just keep that in mind. But
哦，他们可能不会都放出来，他们可能只会放出来一个啊。反正我觉得基础头盔比较好
we'll
看，
go back to the Agugian helmet.
我比较喜欢基础头盔。
Pretty good. I'm gonna take off the holstering just so we can see all the detail work you did on the back, Greg.
Hot off the press, right?
Yeah. All right. So yeah, like I said, Stynex will have Void Shell, Levirian, some customizations, and why don't you talk? Do you want me to like show the abilities first?
Nah, just go and game it.
All right. And then you can tell which ones.
他要说技能了。
Helmet, all that fun stuff.
要说技能
Are you ready to watch my gameplay? In a totally
，Final
new
Step，
lens?
哎，这感觉像潘星的那个 E 还是 W，
Like, slow down.
Pablo's
这
quiet
大招感觉像潘星的那个，
Go right
就是
ahead.
We'll
进入
make it work.
高护甲
Actually,
然后往
one,
前刺
so。this is all part of Veilbreaker as
对不起，
well.
我玩撸啊撸不是那么
So
多。
Stynex is coming in Veilbreaker.
我玩撸啊
The
撸
biggest
主要是
QOL
A-Rank，
that we've ever added to the
也是
game.
大乱斗。
We've short. By the way, spoilers. If you didn't play the new war, don't ask where I am. But the time to use this little.
如果你还不知道的话，这个传送变快了，
Almost by 75%.
增加了
That is some QOL.
75%的传送速度。
Don't worry, guys.
And that's a wrap for the stream.
That's it.
谢谢第一，这个就是我不用地球基地的原因
Your。code, Stynex?
现在的话
Thanks so much.
可能，但我觉得我也不会用它。那个传送我还是不怎么喜欢。
Infantryman?
I'm
Veilbreaker
probably just gonna hop to.
expires。
I don't know. Complementary color has me on edge now. So.
Oh boy.
这有什么新地图吗？怎么感觉这个地方像个新地图一
You
样？
want me to fight Grenier, Corpus Infested? Any
Red?
preference?
Is that a compliment?
Grenier. 'Cause
Grenier
we
is
can talk about
blue?
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really
Blue?
cookie.
用地球基地有什么优势吗？有场景优势，你外边会有一个场景挺好看的。
Maybe I'll do a
Let's do
survival.
one or something.
Actually, I don't think there is survival on series because it's.
Gabby, isn't Gabby a survivor?
Yeah, but that's not on series. That's on the. All right. What's a girl to do in this day and age? You know what? Let's just do it normal. Interception's pretty okay.
Sure.
Let's do it, fam.
这个是 series 其实有2个生存，
Yeah, so talking a little bit about Stynex.
这个地方是一个生存，这个地方是一个生存。
It's kind of interesting. I felt like
连麻刚说啊，这里没有
when
生
I
存。
saw the model, like
这是代表说连麻的血还没有打够。
classic Warframe in a way.
要是连麻
You know, the fact
血
that
还
the
一打
legs
多，
are
真
human
的
legs, the
what
arms
the
are human arms. Oh, yeah.
By the way, this is coming with Veilbreaker. And it's
WT.
processing, that's why it's
Wow.
it's doing that.
Salute, Chuggy.
刚好看到了个什么奇怪的东
And
西，
I think his kit is also kind of like
这好像是个一个皮肤，
a little more stripped down in a way. It's not as crazy as some of the others we've
对，
made.
基地很大的。
So
哎，波士顿皮，
What would you put on
哪
spear
个憨
rolling
批
for
会
his
用这
one
玩意儿？哦，我
throwing
做了
spear?
视频哦，
Totally
那没事儿了。
You saw that throwing spear there.
啊，前面丢了个东西是吧？
And then
哥
the
们儿
enemy hits a wall, which happens a lot because there's walls all over the place, and you hit them really hard. It creates a little vortex, and as Megan, we recorded Megan.
一技能往前
That is exactly the sound effect.
往前扔丢中敌人的时候，触碰墙体会触发一个小小的吸怪效果。
Hopefully you have infinite energy.
Sure do.
这护盾量挺多的，他上了那个应该上了护
These
盾。
enemies. We're ramping up. I don't want to fail the mission on stream.
Please don't. Make it look good.
Ooh!
你看到没有？他会把钉到那个地
So
方
as。you can see, he was not long
长
for his
枪
roll.
钉到敌人之后，会把它丢到墙上，然后创造一个小的那个吸怪漩涡。
They still suck.
它登陆船怎么计算下一个版本的新东西？
Yeah, so with the vortexes,
这个图其实非常难控制，你需要一个大的控场敌
You
人。
do land it, and what she's doing right now is not necessary, but it's my instinct whenever I'm playing. which
这个
is
图非常
jump
难
and
控
spear
制，
them down, 'cause
特别
you
是
want
地
them to
点，
hit a
地点
wall.
一旦丢了，基
So
本
you
上
jump and
单
spear
人
them
不太
down.
好拿回
That
来。
vortex happens near
有啥
you,
奖励？
so you can
三个符码。
quite a bit with that.
That kind of be your default thing to do if you're on Dallas, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And then he's, oh, you know what? Okay, small break. I need everyone to,
Pay attention, class.
yeah, sorry. I need everyone to do me a favor, make me a promise, handshakes all around. Let's pretend that little shield next to the health is not there. Everyone just pretend that doesn't exist.
哦 ，Stynax
No
好
one
像
ever
没
saw
有
it.
没有盾诶
It's。not a thing. Okay. Now everyone
Suspend your disbelief.
yeah, suspend your
Yeah.
disbelief. That is not there. You are not seeing what you're seeing.
哦，这不要看盾。
I forgot that we turned it off for that. Yeah, anyways, doesn't
他说
so
不要看
number
盾，
two,
那代表没盾了。
slams them with a shield, so if you get close to them. I think they might be so low level that they might just
Oh,
die.
there you go.
Yeah. So it does damage, so at this low level it kills them. But if we find a heavy gunner later, you'll see it cuts armor in half and it cuts shields in half and then does damage. So it's like a stagger, which staggers them for like 6 seconds, so it's like a micro CC. And then it also cuts their shields and their armor by 50%.
哦，他对二技能对敌人做一个小小的硬直，然后减少他们的护盾和护甲50%。这次直播有掉宝吗？3个符码。
Armor shredding works on different abilities.
1850是啥？
So essentially, in some
他们的意思应该就是
warframes,
没
we do armor
没那个
shredding
吧？
by like 50%.
他们的意思可能是没护盾。
First, we go from 100 to a 50, and then if we take another 50, we just take 25 because it's a 50% of the 50%, and then you take another 50, and now we only took 12.5 and 7. And it just kind of go down, and it takes like 7 hits to fully remove armor.
哦，所以说它这个护甲艺术是固定的，你需要使用7次二技能才能完美。
If he does 2 strips of 50, he actually takes off 100%. So I didn't like that it was inconsistent. So we actually changed them all. Instead of to the way that most do it, we changed them to the Oberon way. So now all armor stripping abilities are more efficient, well, are more effective. So essentially, if you hit twice with a 50%,
哦，
you'll
没
strip
事，
100%.
它是你一开始的，它先改了，你用2次50%就50%了。
I mentioned percent based because, for example, Mag is not percent based. She's like a fixed amount, so that one didn't change. It's only the percent ones that are changed. And we changed it for a whole bunch of them. I don't have a list with me, but it's a bunch. On top of that, we also did a few revisions to numbers on a few of them. So, for example, I'm gonna do this from memory, so sorry if I don't bring them all. But Terrified, I think we went from like 30% to 75%. Oberon, we went from 30% to 50% strip. We increased a few, not a ton, but like 4 or 5, I think we increased. And we also changed a few from being duration-based to being permanent. So the one I remember right now for that, I think is Banshee with the augment.
哦，没有人在玩梗是吧？
The Sonic Fracture Augment?
Yeah, I think Banshee with the Sonic Fragment augment used to be duration-based. Now it's permanent. So once you hit them,
他们改了很多技
they
能啊，
don't have
宝
the
贝们
armor。and they stay without
我
the
不知道技能
And
的
oh
名
my
字
god,
是啥。
breaking news, back to Cyanac's ability.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, you're like, you do what you gotta do, but we gotta go talk about the other two.
Sorry.
It's also worth mentioning that
他的这个反正是波甲的技能很多都改了。
That is the
shield bash
yeah.
as anyone.
Yeah, so the reason I looked at the whole armor shredding is because this one armor shreds. And
今天直播多久？不知道，宝贝儿。
that inconsistency is that we decided to change.
应该还会播，我觉得40分钟左右。它有很多东西没有那个。它的技能不消耗蓝量，没有，这是第一的那个无敌模式。
So basically, what it does is buffs nearby allies and yourself to get passive energy regen.
OK， 3技能，3技能可以。
Yes, I'm gonna do his ultimate before the level ends. So
okay.
On one guy though, so prepare yourself.
On one guy. Okay. Ultimate on one guy.
What the?
Hell yeah.
OK， 3技能的话，可以给自己和队友提供。看着画面，我不知道怎么说。3技能可以给自己和队友提供回蓝，然后好像还有超能护盾。那他为啥说不要看到护盾？那这不代表有护盾吗？
Does a whole bunch of damage, does slash proc, so it's pretty beastly again, and it scales pretty well.
4技能也看到了，就击头毛，头。
We're going back to the arsenal. We'll be fine.
The passive is he gets crit chance on weapons based on the amount of shields he has. So if you put a whole bunch of all the shield mods.
哦，那我懂了，那就是他那个1800的那个值是假的。OK， 我懂他的意思。被动效果是盾越多，暴击越多嘛。对，我大体懂了。他那1850，他说的是1850，不要看。他还有盾的。对，盾的数值是不准的。
That's a real 300 power fantasy, isn't it? His final ultimate.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely is. So he is the spearman.
He just needs a big kit.
所以说1技能定住敌人之后，飞到墙上可以创造一个小的漩涡。2技能可以创造一个小小的空场和波甲。3技能回蓝，然后回盾，给队友和自己回蓝回盾。然后4技能丢。对，这么理解就行了。
What a great color scheme.
And now we stare.
哦，我刚刚是不是看到他的那个武器？所以说那把武器，他只是那么丢着玩是吧？护盾越多，暴击越多。Gilding， 这个是他的被动，那个是被动，他的被动跟母流没有关系。原来连麻换位置了，因为连麻那个他的职位改了。
Oh boy. Remember when I said it would be great, like first time, so hopefully, you know.
连麻的职位改了，然后 Megan 替了连麻原来的那个位置，他也连麻职位变成了那个创意总监，从社区总监变成创意总监，然后 Megan 替了连麻变成了社区总监。
What next? You done with? Oh, did we see his idol? I wasn't even looking.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we did. All right, so within Veilbreaker, we're gonna get towards the Veilbreaker quest and
丢的好烂。
about Call returning. But there's a lot of quality of
外形蛮好看，对我觉得这次蛮好看的。
When I say a lot, I mean a lot. A lot.
There's a lot of
然后现在才开始谈 Veilbreaker 40分钟，所以我觉得还能再谈30分钟。
Okay, so
至少30分钟。
Well, let's take a look at what Veilbreaker actually is at the top level. So it is a 30-second
更新32 Veilbreaker 全新的主线小任务，然后在做这个任务之前，你当然需要完成新世之战。然后卡尔175回归，真男人回归，全新的 Syndicate， 全新的集团。
Things for you to play that's
Garsgranchen.
what state things
Garshen.
So we're not going to give any spoilers, but I want to make sure that
Garcion.
there's a pretty good understanding of all the expectations for this update.
然后新的
that's going to kick things off.
周活动，每周活动。
we're adding to the game for content, which we'll talk about.
然后那个 Archon 是那个叫啥？那个执行者，对，执行者的狩猎。卡尔自己的集团是的。
But it does bring back a character from the new war. It brings a way for
Viso 是不是 G？
which spoiler it's called is going to interact with the war.
对不起，这句话是有点剧透，你当我没说吧。
And it's going to bring it down in a weekly activity way, so players can sort of know what to expect when it comes to what they're going to be doing with the content here. And a lot of that content is around call, and a lot of it is around.
那会跟钢铁防线冲突？不会，不会，宝贝儿。
We're not going to show it for spoilers, but you'll get a really good idea if you.
等等，你头像是 War Robot， 这游戏我还玩过。
Yeah. So that's sort of the overview, and then with all the new comes quality of life. So we also have, I think there's a second slide here. That tells you that yes,
50战甲 Stynex QOL 是啥呀
？Quality of
Quality
life,
Quality of life.
balance, new void shell, new
然后
cosmetics,
新的这个
of course,
Void Shell 皮肤
so we can go through all of those
，Protea 的
things.
华丽外观，还有更多。
And yeah, we'll just talk about the quality of life overview, and then we're going to get into it.
新 Warframe 重做，新手 Warframe 重做，悟空改动。喂，我说的啥，宝贝们？
So you're going to be coming
我
back
说
to
的
this
啥？
slide.
悟空改动，
So
子弹改动，
syndicate stuff,
护甲改
since the dawn of time,
护甲改动 Last Scrap。
pledge to syndicates.
We've actually done this several times.
Yeah.
悟空，
This is
哎
a bit，of
宝贝
a
们，我说的啥来着？
separating
我看透了第一集。
Aesthetics from
悟空肯定被
functionality.
笑啊！
I don't know how many times we've done this, but we keep doing
哎，
it.
从这个地方看更多的东西。你像我有个 pad， 我可以重新在不影响那个的情况下挥出来。Gliding 滑翔改动 ，Warframe 第二部分，技能帽的加强，真改啊！然后 Syndicate Pledge 那是啥呀？这个词我不会，没事儿，我有道翻译，现在该上线。
Essentially, we split that, so you no longer now the sigils are just for
那我懂了。
represent what does look cool with your fashion frame, and it no longer has any tie to the gameplay of earning the points. Now for that, when you just get to the system or when you want to switch, you go to the Syndicate's console, and there it is.
Pledge allegiance to a syndicate to increase your standing with that syndicate and its allies. Earn rewards. You lose standing with syndicates that oppose your pledged ideals, but can rescind your pledge.
哇，这个太好了吧！你现在不需要身上挂那个徽章，来那个来增加你的那个数值了，因为增加装徽章它会增加%多少那个加成，然后说你可以上多少数值嘛。你现在可以直接通过在面板里选择来增加这个数值，所以说你的那些徽章、胸章什么的纯粹变成装饰了。
I'm a red veil kind of guy.
Alright.
You know, I'm very edgy, as you can see. You can see from my
对
colors.
吧？大家看懂什么意思？我现在这个不需要翻译了，就是你可以在面板里选择你想升的集团。 你可以在面板这里选择你想升的集团，然后现在这个胸章就纯粹的变成了一个胸章。
As you rank through the syndicate, you'll basically start earning higher bonus.
你看这里可以改，你可以改你的集团。你现在选的就是Red Veil 血色的话，你就可以改。
Yeah, so if you hide Esteen, what Pablo just said is right there in the UI, so you don't need to worry about that bonus because I'm max rank, earning 15% of affinity, so you'll be able to swap.
就会增加15%。
Still scale based on rank.
然后那个百分比增加会根据你的等级来决定。
So there's change pledge.
Yeah.
Right below your crotch, where it belongs.
Oh my god.
Lotus wannabe will get her time in the sun.
赵小学会改猴子，会直播猴子改什么的，如果有说的
Next
话。
one, starter warframe.
那我不知道。
Reworks. We talked about this very briefly on the dev Q&A at 10:00.
哦，那个新的
The intention with this is sometimes
新手战甲重做。
frames that players will use. We know they won't have all the mods and all the things.
Excalibur Vault 和 Mag 得到了改动。
So we wanted to kind of make them a bit more accessible, especially for that crowd. So we touched a few things. I don't have. We did those maybe between 3 and 2 months ago, so I don't remember them all by
I
heart.
got a whole list if you want me to write it off to you. I won't though.
You can tell me if I forget.
Okay, great. I'll correct you. Go.
So in Excalibur, the main focus was his one. Basically, we added.
咖喱棒的一技能得到了改动。
Every swing, it's much faster. It feels snappier.
然后一技能释放的速度得到了加强。
More oomphy, more satisfying when you're doing the attacks. For his 2, I don't think we changed anything in particular.
二技能没有太多的改动。
For his 3, we did add a slash proc to the hit. We removed the enemy cap. I guess the enemy cap isn't really for new players, but anyways.
3技能的
his fourth within changes.
最大攻击敌
In
人
general, what we did
上
do,
限
and
得
this
到了
this
移
applies to
除
all three,
然后增加
a
了
few
切
of
割
the
的触发
stats for the abilities. If you guys remember the change we did for arcanes, where they had like 4 different stats and they all scaled every rank.
别中
We
毒马
changed
毒马
arcanes
应该
to
不
now
会被
have
动
only
的
one stat that ranks every rank,
马都多
and
久
everything
了
else is pushed to the max. We did that with a few of the abilities here. And the overall objective of that is that if you have a lot of abilities that scale every rank, then the improvements become exponential. Whereas if you just have one, it's
下家无
linear,
脑
right?
对
So
还是有无脑战
basically
甲
we
的
wanted to make it, you're raising the floor, but keeping the ceiling the same. That's kind of what we're doing. So we did that with this ones, again, for the intent of it being, and feeling better when you're
So
just
does that mean
starting.
I can put slash dash back on my Excalibur?
Yeah.
Should I consider doing that?
You should definitely consider it. It definitely can, it does pack a punch. Then for Mag,
看
big
4
changes
技能
in-
没有动
in her
然后是
two.
Mag
That one we can show if you want. I don't know if you want to show it, but basically the problem generally with Mag is whenever you pulled, enemies would just pull in your
Oh,
direction.
you mean her one? Her one?
Her one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you said big changes for her too.
No.
Yeah.
So I was her too.
Her
You know,
as
like-
well.
Yeah, her as well. Additional. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So her pull, generally you would pull enemies and they would just end up way behind you and you'd have no way to shoot them. It'd be kind of uncomfortable often. So now when you pull, they pull in front of you. We made a little
一技能
vortex in front of
从
you, so you
前
kinda
面
just gather
拉到
them
后
and
面
smash
变成
them.
了前面拉到一
It is
团
honestly maybe a
应该
little
是
too
这样
powerful. But it is really fun. It feels much better to use. You can gather enemies and just kind of, if you're using melee, you can just slam them right there.
对
If you're
从
using,
前面拉到后面变成了前面拉成一
the
团
second ability, it also is very good because you basically gather them on the bubble. So
然后2技能的话
it
是不是
definitely-
聚到一
it
起呢
definitely
是不是
feels
跟2
pretty
技能有
good.
点冲
One
击
thing we did change here is because it's so much more powerful now. The helmet version was reduced. So just bear that in mind if you're.
然后他们认为这个1技能改的很
As
强
usual,
所
whenever
以
there's a reduced version in
helmet
the
那
comment,
个
there's a note in the
大嘴的
tooltip
那
itself
个
where you can
替
see
换
the
对
updated
啊
stats.
你看拉到一起了大嘴的替换得到
Yeah,
了
pull things no
削
longer
弱
behind you in range where you can actually go to town on them.
Yeah,
所以
so
确实就吸到
as
你
you
面
can see,
前
it is pretty effective because he literally just leaves them right there for
还是抢了
you,
猴子你现在不知道
serves
猴子
in a
改成什么样了
platter
宝
for
贝
you
儿
to destroy.
I love things on a platter.
Yeah.
我呢这个拉确实很舒服拉到你面前
Then for her one also now synergizes well. I guess this will be with her tree. Okay, so her tree always created those little shards. A lot of players didn't even know this was a thing because they
对
are kind of hard to see and they never were a big deal. So you see those little lights over there. Now when you pull them, you can see they hover around you. If enemies get close to you, they deal damage to them. And then also, if you then cast the magnetized bubble, those little things will fly into the magnetized bubble to basically buff it up as you guys.
这个3技能创造的那个碎片现在会
dealing damage. Well,
该怎么说呢现在会跟随在你身边了触碰到敌人会造成伤害当你使用2技能之后这些碎片会到2技能里面造成持续性伤害
Making the mechanics of the polarized shards much more clearer, connecting them to other abilities, and then making that one way more.
如果你不知道的话3
That's
技
why
能
the
可
index
可
is
以
saying they're financially
是可以
stressed
创造
out
碎片的
ability.
我们买的那期视频里应该有说
I can see that. I can see that.
Index focus.
就是说让那个碎片变得更加
And
明
finally,
显而不是掉落在
Bolt is
地
the
上
one that
了是
received
跟
the
随
least
在你
amount
身
of
边
changes because he was pretty solid already. A lot of what I mentioned earlier, buffing those base stats to max rank.
Armor
His one
changes
is now
护甲改
15
动
energy instead of 25. That's something we're trying. Just like, how does it like? We generally first abilities have always been 25, kind of universally. We're trying it on this one, see how it feels to have a 15 energy version of it. For his shield, most of the changes are to the carry version. It no longer for the carry.
Carrie, tell me
Hey,
more.
I didn't know I had my alternate version, so that's exciting.
It no longer adds extra energy drain. It no longer slows you down. It no longer limits you to secondary. So all of those extra limitations are gone. So it's much more comfortable to use. Well, it's actually much more viable to use because a lot of people were not using it as it was. And did I miss anything?
No, you
Hey,
Wow.
okay.
说实话
I'm
，Vault 这
not
个
seeing
我
that
没有
as
听
fun.
见。
That's excellent.
Oh, it's perfect.
I'm just gonna jump in, and I saw someone in chat asking about the gilding changes. That's just a conversation. So essentially, as we're looking through, like I said, the new war is a
哦，不对，不是，我看成了 gliding， 这是 gilding， 镀金这该懂，
interesting and fun with all the content we have.
是个镀金吧？
Gilding changes speak to that. So essentially, the gilding system as it is now, it takes your modular gear, and you can gild it to not only increase their stats, but also
对，是
to
镀金。
start earning mastery from it and other things. But what we've done with gilding now is, as a functionality for modular gear, it is now the gate to mastery. So that means that your modular stuff, from your Zaws to your kit guns, are going to give gilded level stats when you build it. And then you can choose to gild it if you want to earn mastery. So gilding for the player that's looking for power, or I think customizations too still actually. But as far as
所以镀金现在的门槛是限制 M2。 master 就是那个动力经验和外观。
Because you know you need a better amp for the quests to come after Second Dream, you'll be able to get stats from those before having to gild and turn in, which really comes down to
但是不会限制那个武器强度，应该是这么意思。
Progress a lot in that syndicate before you can gild your amp, but now the amp you make is going to just be better as you're earlier in that syndicate. Which
对，所以还是那个意思。 现在镀金不会影响武器的强度，因为武器的强度已经给你加强好了，它只是会影响你的段位经验和外观。就是说，当你没有镀金的时候，你这把武器是没有段位经验，然后没有外观选择的。你镀金了之后，便可以给它上外观什么的。
I don't like the in general. I think it feels better when a buff is not like something that you just have all the time, because then you don't even really like feel when the speed comes in. So it's higher. It's constant for all ranks. So rank 0 will have the same duration as max rank. They're all raised to the ceiling. It's a little higher, but not a lot higher. But the speed itself is higher.
这意思上不，你还是需要镀金才有段位经验。现在不镀金是最高武器伤害、最高数据，因为现在的话，如果你不镀金，你的武器伤害会更低，就暴击几率、触发几率的话会更少。那么之后改了之后，你就有最高的那个暴击几率，就改好了之后的暴击几率，但是你还是需要镀金才能获得段位经验和外观。 对对，你就这么理解就行了。
Ribbon capacity, mine right now is 117. I'm almost at capacity, and every ribbon I get is going to feed into that. But we are changing that.
We're gonna change that. I made a great video on it, Dana, if you'd like to roll my video that I made this morning. Yeah, so basically there's those two stats. Now we have a new kind of state for the ribbon, where essentially you're going to get your ribbon and it is going to stack, and it is going to be basically a secret. You're going to obviously know what weapon to put it on so that you can equip it. As you can see, it kind of goes by a little fast.
然后之前提到过的叫啥位
You can see what the actual challenge is, and then it counts towards your ribbon capacity. So you can just keep earning ribbons and not equipping it and knowing what it's for, and it doesn't stack towards that.
之前提到过那个叫啥未开的字卡不占你的字卡位置。
We've always struggled with, you can't do a sortie because your ribbon capacity is full, and that's just sort of a bit of a not a pleasant flow for the player. So
你现在会有一个未揭开的字卡，当你把字卡装上了之后，它会消耗你一个位置，然后揭示它的任务。那些天天挑字卡的那些人，记了。那些什么这个挑挑拣拣的，这个是只有装上了之后才会显示任务。你看。对，它那个一开始获得的字卡是未展示、未揭露的，所以它不占那个位置，不占你字卡的位置。当你把字卡放到一把武器上之后，它会揭露那个任务，然后再占你一个位置。镀金自助卷是的，自助武器。
Hot off Pablo's Twitter.
Oh God. Oh. You guys need to start tweeting stuff for me.
Yeah.
Twitter's
where it's at.
I don't have a Twitter account.
啊，又卡又卡。
But I can
smart.
I can assume where chat's gonna guess where this is gonna go. Wukong.
OK，
Wukong.
悟空
I'm
来了。
actually gonna talk about AOE and put Wukong
以后交易未
somewhere
开资还是哪一种？
Okay.
两种可能都可以
AOE,
吧。
Pablo. Let's
Okay,
do
so
it.
we're gonna go directly into AOE, and that's why I brought this page. That's how complicated that one is.
But the rest of us can just sit back, relax. Okay, I think our job is to react to Pablo.
Yes.
This is like a yeah. We
剩下的3个下班了，就听 Pablo 讲就行
I
了。
can't
这是
believe
悟空的
they
改
did
动。
this. Or like, what are they doing?
You need something to I can flip the table or something.
Yeah. I already knocked my water over, so
Very violent.
There is that treacherous piece of paper, though, so it keeps coming back.
yes, it's true. Treachery and all. It's
So AOE.
There we go. So AOE. Here
You
we
guys
go.
can stop. Over to him. There
Yeah.
we go.
Basically, as you guys know, AOE
对，
has
子气
been,
武器
pretty
种类还
dominant
是有的。
for a little while, particularly given some of the changes that we made in the past, such as removing the self-damage. That's one of the ones that really kind of boosted up.
那
things.
在看任务之后还能
Now
交易
there's
吗？
no- You know, obviously in
不知道。
hindsight, we can see now that
我
actual
觉得
functionality was
可
doing
能。
quite a bit of work on maintaining the usage of AOE under control, and that control has been gone for a while. So the first thought is like, okay, well, why are we changing it? What reasons do we have? So we generally look at, there's many things to look at whenever we decide to make a change, but there's 3 that generally do me pretty well for almost any gameplay thing that I'm looking at. One is
对，怎么改都
looking
会有
at
人不满意的。
how automated is it?
但是怎
You know,
么
is it
怎么
something
不改
that
也会有人
you're
不满
actually
意，
playing? Is it something that you can
好吧？就改与不改，
kind
悟
of
空都使人不
not
满
play and
意。
ignore? And for this, we actually have some
we have
some video.
footage of how
Yeah.
we play
Live,
right now.
live for the live.
有啥意义？这个资料来说，不吃字卡那个
There's
了。
footage of how I think there's a few. This is showing the fact that there's no consequence to using it. Well, there's a few things being shown.
啊，还是爆炸武器还是有削弱的。
Essentially, you can run through a mission like this, kind of shooting a rocket at your feet, murdering everything.
对，
In
这是
a
他们
long,
现
long
在现在
range.
的演示。
You never run out of ammo. You never suffer much damage. It's very, very. I wouldn't say it's automated, but I would give it a half a point for
we can
automated.
take a look at full automation with the second AOE video.
Yeah, the second AOE is a little more. Yeah, so there's this one. This one basically, we had one of the testers try this, and he stayed there several minutes, never ran out of energy, never ran out of ammo, never died. Like he could even collect enough survival.
他装的好慢啊，
thing
难受。
from just standing there doing essentially nothing, just shooting at the floor. You don't even have to
Makes
see
me
the
go
enemies.
Back to about 8 years ago when we first debated putting an explosive weapon into the game
Yeah.
at all.
Look at us now. Did you say yes to that, Carrie?
哦，对哦，梦回8年前，
Could possibly be my fault at some point. in the
爆炸车要消失不？没有，现在这只是在实际演示，就演示他们认为的爆炸武器的问题。
Oh my god.
Look what we've become.
是他们认为的
So,
问
yeah, we
题。
feel like this style of gameplay has become it's pretty bad. Like you're.
这确实是一个问题，好吧？现在全部人都在这样玩，包括我，我是最早开始玩那一批人，最早开始玩的，因为我，该怎么说呢？很多东西都有吧，对吧？他们改完的时候，我直接有那个顶天立地 Prime， 我装上去我就直接满脑子随便乱使了，我什么都不怕，好吧？
overwhelmingly dominant that you basically have almost no choice but to use them. If you use anything else, you almost feel like you're playing.
挂机
wrong
亚洲区比较严
because
重，
what's going to compete
说
with
实
what
话
you're
都差
seeing
不
on
多。
screen, right? Like you're just devastating entire rooms without having to aim, without a care in the world. It's very hard to have anything else that can compete with something like that. So right now, out of our top 5 weapons, all 5 are AOE.
对，现在前5的话，全部都是爆炸武器，这也没啥奇怪的。
It's essentially kind of all there is. So
Use AOE or you're playing wrong as a trend. So yes, you can come back to us now, Demas. I'm sure people are not getting any entertainment.
Do you get it yet?
Yeah, no. Yeah, but like that's just the.
look at it.
That's the extreme use case. That's when like that.
爆炸武器可能也
is
消
when
了。
you are automating and playing. People do play and engage with Warframe with AOE
Right.
weapons. We're not painting everyone with the same brush. We're just showing the extremes that we see when we get these reports and actually the last point. So
确实挺极端的，我也这样玩。
Final one, which is for our co-op game the most important. are you
警报应该上了，对，12 点。
And that comes down to like how disruptive is your gameplay to other players that might join you, because at the end of the day, this is a co-op game.
400杜卡币和一个黑符
We
码
need to try and keep the game fun for everyone, and so make it so that one player cannot kind of quote unquote ruin it for the rest.
把磁场改回来，那个喷火器又起来了。
The problem wasn't really that Limbo was too strong or that Limbo was whatever. It was mostly that whenever a player was playing with old Limbo, it was just annoying to play with the old Limbo because he would just freeze the enemies. You couldn't shoot them. Limbo could really ruin the game for you.
Yeah, rest in peace. My JoJo frame. It's fine. We move on.
啊，还有黎明波，我不知道他黎明波以前被改
Similar
过。
for this. We don't generally see players asking us to nerf things. It's very, very unusual. But we are seeing it quite a bit with AoE. I'm sure you've seen it on forums and Reddit and Twitter. I get this is one of the I can't even remember.
还有啥武器？反正如果他们这么一改，我这些突步枪又可以回来用了。
Because it is making the game less fun for other players.
刚刚睡死了，有讲什么重点吗？新的战甲，战甲改动，集团改动。 还有其他乱七八糟的。现在是最重的点啊，悟空削弱。
Now what are we doing? We try to approach this in a kind of holistic way. So this is gonna be kind of complicated because I'm gonna come at it from many different angles. We're not doing I don't think any of these changes on their own are huge. They're like
还有做小
small
削
changes
弱
all
应
over
该
the
是。
place. So let me start with ammo. So ammo, we actually were already working on changing ammo before we started doing this, and it just happened to be something that worked pretty well together. So what we wanted to
正好好像总体的弹药获取都要改动，就所有武器的，好像是。
So in ammo we have 4 different types of ammo that drop regularly.
当前我们有4种弹药，
heavy ammo, but I want
步枪、手枪、散弹、狙击。
Basically, it'll be secondary, primary, shotgun, and sniper. And then basically, those drop on the floor. They have different.
新战甲啥 ？Synax.
You pick them up. For the most part, players are not really very aware of ammo because it's just you can just kind of ignore it. It doesn't really serve.
不用搞弹药限制吧，那好恶心啊！
Color things sprinkled around the level. So we were trying to simplify it, and we are changing it into primary and secondary only. No more.
优化了弹药，弹药现在只是主武器和副武器了。
So, what does that mean for you?
现在没有散弹枪和狙枪的弹药。
With your shotgun to a mission, it means that now when you kill an enemy, instead of having 1 out of 4 chance of getting ammo that actually helps you, you now get 1 out of 2. So that basically now ammo is a little more plentiful for you. On top of that, we actually increase how much ammo you get from each bucket because we reduced how often they drop. So
他们减少了弹药的掉落几率，但是增加了弹药的获取数量。
Often they drop by half, so now we're even, and then we increased how much ammo they give, so now it's a buff. Does that make sense?
It does. Okay. So when we talk about like this so far, how does this relate to AoE? We'll get to. You said you're going to take a few different angles, but I think if you're really passionate about AoE,
各种武器转帽这怎么算？那还是老算啊。
We said it was going to be a long stream, and we meant it, and we still have art to get to. Don't worry over there, guys.
哇，这个直播有好多要聊啊。
So at this point, ammo as a vector to try and balance AoE is the first.
Right.
他们尝试用弹药来平衡 AoE， 这是第一部分啊，这不是指全部的。
If you remember when there was an attempt to nerf Brahma before, I say an attempt because it didn't really work. The attempt was reduce how much ammo you get from each ammo pack, with the idea that would kind of throttle how much you could shoot.
这么改的话，沙皇的那些没准我都可以改。
Ammo packs drop so often.
沙皇不拉巴出新视频，水。
Keep up your economy of ammo without really having to care at all. Now that ammo packs are a little more spread, they drop half the time, you actually can run out of ammo, which is definitely quite new for us. But we can actually now use ammo for balancing, whereas with the previous.
但说实话，用弹药来平衡武器是最烂的一种选择，就纯恶心你的手感。 说实话，有些人可能觉得很好，但我觉得用弹药来平衡武器就是纯恶心手感，因为你可以射，但你射不出来。
But now we can actually use this system as a way to throw the.
它是一种平衡的方式，但这种平衡方式非常恶心。我玩坦克世界，我觉得很能体会到，有些时候你想射不出去子弹。可是对是很简单，对是很简单，但确实是一种选择。
Something like the Brahma, which is an AoE explosive arrow, maybe it's better that I don't use
one
single enemy and then raid again on a group and just try and be more tactical. So it's just about using your grenade launcher on one enemy versus clustering and being just a bit more.
就是说这很明，就是第一想让你有目标性的使用 AoE 武器打击敌人，就不要这满天到处放，然后就当，然后一路你就下去了，而是前面有个敌人，然后那个地方有一群敌人，你射那一群的。
Like if you're shooting a rocket at someone's face, it needs to be punchy. It needs to kill a bunch of enemies. It just needs to not be as mindless as it is right now, where you have not a care in the world for, if you're aiming at one guy or if you're aiming at 5, it's all the same to you.
Yeah. So because we're talking about ammo, I don't know if you're going to go into the holster speed stuff from here.
Yeah.
Okay. So because there is but depending on your builds or how you manage your gameplay, there's a likelihood you'll be holstering and weapon swapping more, which means we're actually going to buff that.
Right.
他们要增加武器切换速度，因为弹药变少了。
Essentially, we're changing holstering. You can see there on the right, we have the new one. On the left,
增加武器的切换速度。
And essentially, we remove the first animation where you go and holster in, and then we sped up the second animation where you holster out. So now switching between weapons is considerably faster. So it actually enables you a little bit more to.
爆炸武器这个无解，好吧，消就消了。我之前说了，爆炸武器如果消的话，它一定某种形式消。这其实比我想的还好了。
So you nuke a few times, you start running low on ammo, you switch to your secondary, you kill a few enemies, gather ammo, and then
千万变废物了。这个会变得更快，强力切换。
That is the reason there is a secondary, right? Like the whole point of the secondary was so that you could accomplish separate things from your primary, so that you could have several tools. But it never really has been like that because generally primaries were so dominant that didn't happen.
但问题是，这个子弹影响会影响多少？我们不知道。如果布拉玛还是那种，它只是纯粹降低了弹药拾取率的话 ，Protea 还是可以干活的。
We just left the damage buff untouched, and we just removed the holster speed part because it makes no sense now. We do have some mods that are just holster speed that we changed.
应该还有165%的伤害加强。
I'm not gonna improvise what they are right now, but we changed them.
目前他说到是消的那个弹药获取。
Which my memory does not allow me to recall right now.
That's okay. I think just
你直接射不出来，你比怎么炸都那个都狠。你炸呀，你炸不出来。
We'll be going over everything. So this is where we are, our headspace, what's been implemented, and then this is going to be a bit of a longer stream. I do have some sort of state of things at the end just to give people some insight into bigger development projects.
对啊，猴子还没说呢。
Have a few more things to go over for this, and then
Yeah, I forgot to mention ammo mutation on the ammo part. We're doing stuff about ammo mutation. Don't worry, we'll.
ammo 弹药转换还是会受到影响的。他说了。
Yes.
So right now, AOEs can do headshots. It's not a very significant part of their damage. From the tests we did internally, it depends on the weapon. We basically, one of our programmers set up a thing that we could see stats live as we were playing and compare damage with headshot multiplier and without headshot multiplier. And from the tests that we did internally, basically it was a difference between 4 and 10% damage. So it's not a huge nerf to AoE weapons, but basically AoE weapons
AoE 武器取消了爆头伤害。
The explosion part. If you hit someone with the
这是
4%，
他说到4%到10%的那个伤害削减。
But the explosion itself won't do headshots. In practical gameplay, it's not a huge deal, but it always
这个是他的广告，我没有办法关掉。
That flamethrower could deal a headshot. It just never made sense.
If it doesn't work for me in real life, it shouldn't work in Warfare.
Okay.
爆头武器会造成4%到10%的伤害。通过不是爆炸武器通过爆头会造成4%到10%。第一除了那个东西。
Headshot multiplier, and then we the other kind of side of like, okay, well, if AOE
就是爆炸的时候，爆炸
then
的时候。
maybe we need to lift the things that are not AOE. Basically, for any sort of precision weapons, we increase the headshot multiplier to 3 times multiplier. So now, if you
爆头伤害
with an actual weapon,
变成了
you
3
actually
倍，
do more
实
damage.
弹啊，
So
实
that
弹
way
武
you
器的
can
爆头伤害变成了
bring
3倍
your。Rubico, which actually is pretty highly used.
就是说疯狂让你
and
爆
then
头
you。deal a headshot with it. Now it's a triple the damage. So basically, you have
以前爆头好像是
more
双倍伤害，
incentive
现在
to
是
use
3倍。
precision weapons there.
Yeah. So that's
麦老板
last, like you said,
坐等我
more
的
headshots, but single
总结影片。谢谢宝贝儿
Yeah,。and
阴阳怪气，
you know,
对不起。
generally, like as a
总之，
mechanic,
谢谢宝贝儿的爱
it's
情，希望我值得。
generally there to reward
这样的
precision.
话，
So
有
it
亚精
generally
瞄具
makes
刷不了
sense when。
爆炸武器
a
剩
lot
什么亚精
explosion
瞄
to
具
do
啊？
a headshot. So, and also in practical use, it almost never happened because the AOE would hit the body before it hit the head.
Yep.
So it would almost never count
因
as
为
a
这个
headshot.
钱你
So
收得
it's
到
a
吗？
low
我
occurrence thing, but we
我
have
从来没有想过这个问题，我应该收得到
And
吧？
then the mods.
Yes. So let's. You can actually come back to my gameplay now.
我从来没有想过这个问题
Just。show
YouTube 应该会拿一部
really
分走，
touching
具体拿多少我不知道，因为这是换算，我
yes,
我不知道是怎么
Prime
换。
Firestorm and Prime Fulmination.
哦，那个 mod，
Historically, whenever
嘿
we've
嘿
done，
爆
prime
炸武
mods,
器的那个 mod，
we generally increase the stats by about two times.
爆炸
So
武器还是
not
可以
as
爆
much
头
as
吗
two,？
不
but
可以
about that. So,
没
for
有
example,
爆头
like
倍
how
率
it
的，好
says
像。
here of continuity goes from 30% to 55%. Flow goes to 150 to 275. So it's not exactly double. It's a little less than double, but close to that. And then we have some that grow less, that grow about only like 50%. Like pressure point goes from 120 to 165.
One,
Pistol
Bobber.
Gambit goes from 120 to 167. So generally
不
that's
是
how
你
we
拿
do
过
it.
钱吗？广告
On this
我当然
one,
有
on
收益
Prime
啊。
Firestorm and Fulmination, we went
22%的
triple
削
bonus.
弱，
Which was kind of crazy in retrospect. You know, obviously it was
下水道点可削亚精瞄具。
unusual
哦
and it
，OK，
was also a mistake.
那应该还能
We
触
can
发
now see
吧？
that,
这削弱
AOE is really
22%的，
So, we're gonna bring those down to be similar to other frames, similar
看
to
到没
other
有
prime mods. So
？44
gonna go from
44
24%
以前是66
to
的。
44% when it's the
Sure.
prime one. So those two are changing to be more in line.
And we are doing compensation for
We are,
players.
yeah.
So anyone that's
烈风暴果然，我也想到了动刀，但我没想到他们会真的动这么大，我以为他们会砍一点
no
点。
fan of the changes.
啊，这也是算是一点
We
点，
have
我
a
是算
couple
多少
others that are also
33%？
outliers that we're also changing.
33.33。
Tactical pump and reach, but in the case of those, we're changing in a different way. Instead of lowering the prime, we're actually increasing the base one. So just the plain old reach is going to increase to 1.5. A tactical pump is going to increase to I think it's 60% or something like that.
Yeah, but I think one thing when it comes to, you know, why is the AoE meta the way it is and all of these things, you know, every time we do an update cycle, we release a prime.
才刚买还是有效果的，好吧？44%也不少，只是没有66%那么大而已。
So there's more stuff. But
I know, but I
它
wanted to just kind of
它还
acknowledge the
它还是有的
reason。
它
of
现在的话
playing
就是跟
Prime
所有的
or
Prime 其
sometimes
他
they
Prime
feel
那个
forced
不能说
to
武器，
use AoE
其他 Prime mod 对
So
齐，因为其他
something
Prime
like
mod 只是
a big
1.5到2倍
AoE
左右的加成，这个 Prime 直接是翻了1倍多。现在是真跟他们看齐了，也没说有啥那个。沙皇涉度没有，还没有说武器削弱，应该不会有武器削弱，都是 AOE 统一在那削。近战有秀吗？没有。这砍还是要用的，是吧？这个 mod 没事。原本的不是30几吗？原本的是24吧。
So if I switch to Steel Path, we're adding Void Fissure Steel Path missions, so you can actually do your Lith relics at a higher difficulty. And you'll also get Steel Essence for it and the usual Steel Path things. So
他们增加了钢铁之路的
base level 6 to 8.
钢铁之路的
But you can now actually do harder
虚空遗物
cracking if you're so inclined.
啊，或者开虚空遗，你可以在钢铁之路开虚空遗物了，每次做完会得到一个钢筋。
This entails because generally speaking, if you played Warframe a long time and you know those prime access cycles
哦，普通版是30嘛。
You might not look forward to playing that Lith mission.
那反正都削了一点点。
Nothing wrong with, but you just so
except being level 11 to 13.
All you did wrong was beat level. So this is another QOL change that's coming with Balebreak.
每完成一次就会获得一个虚空，要不虚空，钢铁精华。
It makes absolute sense
试试看打赏能不能拿到钱啊，宝贝儿，这个不用试的，你爱我就行了。我应该是能拿到，但是得一个月以后就跟我的那些其他东西一起发过来，就跟广告的收益一起发进来。我虽然也没多少，就是。
We understand that, so we want to give this alternative to you, where you can get some extra rewards for doing the cracking of the relics that you were going to do anyways, and hopefully you'll also find the gameplay more to your level and to your liking when you're doing those.
Yes.
And accolades.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Same thing, just relics.
Yeah, that's it.
One minor thing on the mods that I forgot to mention, Furious Wraith, we're also changing. The Furious Wraith Amalgam mod, which has essentially in it increase of AoE range, which is such a valuable stat to have in some random Furix mod. That one is gonna get changed. Right now, I believe it increases now fire rate to secondary, so I think is what it increases now.
So if you find, all things AoE, that's basically what we're doing for sure for the Veilbreaker update. And then there's some other potential things we're gonna do. One of them is potentially adjust the self-stagger. So
可能啊，第一说如果还用了很多，可能会调整。
So to be clear, that's where we end with
那个叫啥？那个 stagger。Stagger 是那个僵直，对，爆炸僵直。可能啊，好吧，可能。
We're hoping that coming at this from several angles, a little bit at a time, makes it so it's not too painful.
就一点一点就开水煮青蛙嘛，啊，我应该是温水煮青蛙。
Keep on our back pocket for now. We're gonna save for a part 2,
if it's needed.
If it's needed, because we want to see how this one's pan out first. So I won't go into a lot of detail about this one, but I do want you to be aware that these are things that might come, that these are things that we try.
可能，好吧。刚才错过什么？你错过了新战甲，你错过了集团不是集团改动，集团声望选择，自爆武器削弱啊，自爆武器爆炸武器削弱。
You'd get some sort of consequence for it. Initially it was the damage, then we changed that to the stagger. And right now, essentially, that stagger, that knockdown, gets removed with a mod that you can get on day 400, which is prime sure-footed. So we did experiment with changing that one to either work like cautious shot, where it just downgrades the thing, or simply only work on enemy CC. We're not gonna release that right now, but it's
反正现在他们的考虑就是，如果还是天天杀，那就是把。那个叫啥？那个站着死 Prime 改成对敌人有效，然后对爆炸武器无效。
The other thing is line of sight. Right now, AOEs can hit enemies through any sort of line of sight.
Not happening in game yet. These are things we might do after we evaluate.
对
We want you to know where we are. That's the whole point.
然后第一说可能考虑移除就是增加我说的那个障碍物。我大概有几个按钮 format， 加上用的还是就是现在单纯有的。
Kind of rewarding you aiming in the general direction of the enemy. But if they were further than
听不太懂，就是说第一现在可能考虑再有一些其他的削弱，但现在这些削弱没有加进来。首先就是增加那个增加 stagger， 就是那个增加僵直的效果。他可能把这僵直效果给改回来，就是什么僵直的效果，就是让那个站着死顶天立地 Prime 移除对于爆炸武器的无视效果。然后就再考虑让顶天立地 Prime 移除爆炸武器效果，就是对敌人有用，但是对自己没有用的。所以说你爆炸还是会影响到自己，可能会加进来这个。
Strong enough.
Yep.
And the final one doesn't even make sense to explain because I didn't explain how armor mutation is going to work. But stuff without mutation.
Yeah, so the
可能，好吧，这个是可能。第一说他们还没有开这一刀，还没有动这一刀。
We have the ammo simplification, the headshot reduction for AoE.
并合卡也被动了，这个我没有听见。
And then Prime Firestorm is essentially being changed to still prime mod trends, but not the 3 times, which is an outlier. And like we said, we know that was a mistake. But that is the overview in the context of AoE. But we have a slide here that we're blocking, but if you wanted to take a screenshot,
addressing things that's all the way down. Ammo system changes.
And then I just quickly want to go to Wukong and to talk about how, as a Warframe, Wukong takes everything we just talked about.
对，这我刚刚说过的，弹药系统改动，武器切换系统速度增快，然后实弹武器爆头效率增高 ，AoE 武器爆头移除 ，Prime 范围坎主武器和副武器削弱，然后增加了遗物，钢铁之路的遗物。
Right now, I have my Wukong out. He has the Kuva Brahma. My Celestial Twin is out there, and he doesn't need ammo, so he can do things that I simply cannot do, which is he can use the Kuva Brahma like I guess I could have used an ammo restore, but just practically speaking, he's just going for it. Ammo not a
降低效率不应该提高一下奖励？有啥降低效率啊？ 啥效率降低了？没啥效率降低，这纯粹在这平衡而已。
Yeah, so we're mostly focusing on that first ability, which as you can see.
主要改的是一技能。
The main change, so.
要说会出总结影片，我肯定会出啊！我哪期总结影片没有出，宝贝儿？你说嘛，我哪一期没有出？还是它弹药限制了，到时候。
If you mark a target,
which some people might not even know you could do, because why bother? But you can mark targets with Wukong's Celestial Twin.
If you mark a target, then the Wu clone will focus on that enemy and will deal extra damage. Now he deals even more damage to that one enemy. So basically, it's rewarding an active playstyle.
加上用上暗影风大概有几个
？10
几个了吧？
You only want to do that for like if you see. If you see an Eximus or if you get an Acolyte, things like that is where you want to use it. The other change we did is that he now actually uses your ammo. So that means
悟空的一技能现在会被你的弹药储存量所影响。
Basically, you can feed him ammo, so you can be around killing enemies with your melee, get some ammo.
太真实了。
You can keep feeding him so he can still work, but again, you have to play. It's all about making it so it's not all automated.
所以说他的一技能会使用你的弹药。
He now actually is affected by the explosion, so he now will get staggered. He will get all that.
然后那个悟空会被分身会被那个僵直爆炸僵直。
Yeah, he inherits your loadout in that respect.
So that last change is almost like a non-change.
有提到伤害减半吗？好的，这个记住。
Yeah, from I was reading a lot of like posts and stuff of what people expected to change with Wukong after I mentioned in Twitter that I was going to change them. A lot of people expected nerfs to his 1, which I just told you what they are, nerfs to his 2, and that's where I'm going to subvert expectations.
Wow.
Watch out.
Yeah, watch out.
射度悟空也会了哦，果然，当你消了一个之后，一个新的东西会出现。
Sort of like the pillars of why nerf things. We feel his 2 is not something that you'd automate. It's not something that's disruptive to other players. Is it a bit dominant? It is a bit dominant because it is really fast, but it is a lot of.
有提到伤害减半是吗？好的，宝贝，我记住。
We kind of control his 2.
要标记敌人才有远距伤害。哦 ，OK，make sense。这个没有问题。
Where we feel like we need to reserve those sorts of
这个没有问题。
for automation, disruption, etc. So his 2 is untouched. His 4th is getting a buff. Essentially,
2技能没有动啊，宝贝们，2技能没有动的。
Not fully restoring, but adding a little bit of the range growth with the combo. It's not as huge as it was before, but it still gives you, I think, up to like 3.5 meters, something like that. So more than a prime stretch. And we're also adding at the end of his
增加了2.5米的连击范围增长。
Stomp on the floor. He'll do a little vortex to pull enemies to you.
然后当你把这个棍子锤到地上的时候，会狙怪。
I do like vortex.
Vortex. So if you didn't like vortexes before, you may like them now.
Yeah. So that.
一技能改吗？改了。
Those are the changes.
Right. So I'm going to take a pivot now to talk.
一技能现在共享你的弹药，会被自爆所影响啊，或者是会被爆炸所影响。然后根据Sam宝不是说了，减少了50%的伤害。完全能期待到，这个没事，小就小了。我已经做好心理准备了。
It's only 3:25.
Okay.
Hey, count on one of those.
脑打高吃怎么办？要吃本体弹药吗？要的。
Hear me rant for a while.
一吃本体弹药，一跟你共享弹药就是。当你没有弹药的时候，你的一技能放出弹药了。然后如果当你有10发，你的悟空射1发，你就减少1发。
Greg, good one. Can you read it?
Oh, T3KKII.
Wow. Tiki. Congratulations, please whisper the Warframe Twitch channel you're watching right now with your in-game aliens platform play Warframe get you 1000 platinum Tiki.
Yes, you've.
Yeah, and breathe.
悟空目前是2倍伤害吗？还是100%？100%。
Among pros.
它是你标记敌人才有2倍伤害，现在的话只是改成标记敌人100%，就砍了1半。
More releases for Void Shell, which through lots of experimentation this year, we started with a batch of 3, and now we're actually going to release 4 more.
所以说本体没弹药分身射不了是吧？是的。
You can come on over to my screen. What do you think of my colors there, Carrie?
哦，这个是新的那个是吧 ？Void Shell 虚空之铠。所以有宝贝们说那个叫啥那个射度吗？
This is running contrary to that.
Interesting. I'm highly saturating your eyes then, but of course we will be adding some more Void Shell skins with the update. We're gonna have Nova, Excalibur, Wukong, hilariously. So you know,
Nova,
not too upset by the changes.
Excalibur, Wukong.
There you go. And then Styanax as well. So that's
还有
4
Styanax 4个。
My Nova looks perfect. No feedback. No.
4个。
Well, actually,
是的，射度这不是紫卡，涨定了，绝对的。
So this will be one which again it hides the saturation, so maybe you would play with this.
Sure does, yeah.
I saw someone asking for helmet.
It doesn't remove the layering, but it does.
哦，等等，这个是新的换文 ，Fog of War，
Yes, I can do that.
战争之雾。
Let me just see. I don't think that's the proper.
新的换文，你刚刚看到，我们没有说，对不起。
There you go. I can. Maybe I'll swap some colors just for the.
我不是很喜欢这个头，我觉得还配 Prime 头比较好。
Anyway, and there will be new materials coming as well. Materials.
iPod 哦 ，iPod 也行。
Scal, Styanax.
我是不是可以考虑做那个爱惜手炮的那个视频了？那个手炮媳妇还没有，我还没有做哎。
My colors? Oh.
这 iPod 也行，说啥射度会好一些，射度带有范围 ，iPod 没有范围。至少你的那个不会用。哦，它这是不是优化了？我怎么感觉比那个好看了？
Not in my business.
I pronounce it. The deluxe collection, Calidrius. This is.
我怎么感觉比上次好看了？
She also has, I believe, a.
但 iPod 伤害高。
Throwing bombs.
我反正觉得，因为 iPod 没有范围，分身可能确实差一点。
I love this.
对吧？是优化了吧？是比上次那个好看，比我视频里的那个画面好看。
Like a player, yeah, Asterisk, who is just a player like any other, but also has a penchant to do amazing arts. Actually came up with the Protea Deluxe skin, and we worked with them. Like this concept came from the community, and then yeah.
政府流炮也可以做视频，
I don't know if I have that ephemera bug.
是优化了对吧？不是我的幻觉，你们也都觉得优化了。
Back in, so you don't see my green stink lines, but yeah. So this is also coming in Veilbreaker.
Finally.
Wow, that is beautiful. There we go. Complimentary.
OK.
That you got to go. I mean that's.
挺好的，我觉得变好看了。
Yeah.
Well done, randomized.
Yeah, and this is one of the first time we had a.
政府有新一的爆炸药箱，太真实了。
That's right.
So this has a whole bunch of new tech in it as far as.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Character building goes.
Yeah, we have some more advanced techniques for rendering feathers and hair. So it's still
布的材质好像变好了，我感觉它那个金变得更金了。
More tools to make a lot of varied materials, and obviously the skin in particular is a good example of that. So yeah.
Yes.
nothing goes wrong with
胸
that.
型变得好看，有可能。
No complications
抱歉
whatsoever.
抱歉抱歉，有可能。哎，这个词儿挺好看的，我挺喜欢这个词儿。
When this was
什么
first
大
shown,
师？
it was like, oh,
来
can
把
we
头
start
画回
having
去
this?
啊！
Everyone wants to start having
Yes,
fur all over
yes.
the place.
Everyone wants a piece of that fur.
Yep.
我就感觉它这个，就特别是它这个金属块的立体色变得更立体了，这个色彩变得更立体。
Excellent. All right, so that is Protea.
That is Protea. I think it's time for
Protea.
Veilbreaker.
挺好的。
Oh, nod to, I don't know, Veilbreaker.
Right. So, with Veilbreaker, it takes us in a
啥时候
post-war
批版
world where
再
you
等
will
几年
find
吧。
yourself, if you finish the new war, you're going to have a quest. And this is when we're going to get into like some devs, you know.
现在才开始聊 Veilbreaker， 我这期视频得做得多长啊？
In your codex, Veilbreaker will be there for you, and once you complete it, your world state is going to change a little bit. So the new war has happened. The Tenno has resolved what.
哦，当你完成这个
time to push things forward with Veilbreaker.
破障者之
After you
后，
finish the Veilbreaker quest,
它还会改
couple
变
things
一些
are gonna
地
change
图。
for you. First is you may have a new visitor.
再来
in
高
your
斯，轮不到高斯，高斯
a
是明年的
roommate,
事
if
情。
you will,
Baruch，
in your actual drifters camp. So in this setting, Dean, I'm just going to have you pop away for a sec, and maybe Meg can fill the airtime for a second or two while I get this set up.
I love filling airtime. As part of Veilbreaker as well, that when you're doing the quest, again, Reb mentioned at the beginning, it is a smaller quest.
这是一个比较小的任务啊，不要期待是一个很大的，估计就是一个填充故事
A
的。
little conversation with daughter. She might have a part to play in
Perhaps,
Veilbreaker.
yes,
Perhaps.
indeed.
谁
So
的
if you go
daughter？
back to my gameplay here, Dean.
谁的女儿？
If you've decorated your
今年还出皮夹，肯定出啊！第一要靠这儿赚钱
move
啊！
some stuff around. This is a friendly warning that there are some there might be some people moving and this is going to lead
哦，
to,
有人会到你
kick
的
off
那
of
个
the new
会到你的
systems
基地
we're
了，
adding.
你基地里现在
So
有
the
人
first
了。
system pertains
于子，你是不是来
specifically
叶
to
灵
this
甲线？
character
是
you
的
see here. You may
，Wisp 还有
know
机会吧？
Paul,
明年。
And he's going to have he has a purpose and he has a goal after the new war and everything that happened. So you'll be experiencing a once a week narrative from his perspective. Of
早
what
安，
he
于
wants
子
to do,
早宝贝
and
儿。
you'll be sort of cycling through that. Once a week there will be something for you to play. We're going to rotate through. I think we're starting with 3, so 3 weeks you'll be going through. And every
我觉得会
time
和
you
尚
play
先
one,，
反正和尚和那
something
个
is
和尚和
going to
叶灵甲
follow. His mission is
两个
going
必一
to
个。
push further. So this area that you see here will grow. You'll meet some people. You may wonder who Chipper is. This is a never before.
哦，反正
seen
你的那个
person
后
that
花
has
园会变得更大，
goals.
不是
And
更大，就
Paul is
内容
here.
更
Paul
多
is waiting. And of course, like any fun system we have,
啊！
yeah, Call is here.
你可以
to,
自定义你的卡尔
you。know, you can do some things to make your call look the way he would. And then you
哦，
go
就
out
你把
and
卡尔招募了是吧？完成任务之后，哦，我懂了。
and then, very important part of anyone that's
然后
undergone
自定义
extreme
卡尔这个我
combat,
知道了。
in terms of bringing it back with style, is eye patches.
Oh.
So we have some concepts as well that we're going to show here. That,
就是说你的队伍变得壮大了，
undertake
你现在
what
不光有
the
战甲，还
different
可以操作
level of
Grenadier。
customizations that Call will have. So I think we have an eye patch asset. Dean,
这地球
perhaps?
基地吗？是的。
Did we lose Dean to the long dev stream?
为啥逼我们买？哎，应该不是那种物理，我只变大，是它内容变大，变得更多。
But yeah, so of course, if you want to get your Metal Gear Solid,
我不知道它会不会具体真的变得更大，但我觉得它会变大那么一点点，因为 NPC 这个地方可能以前你们放了
Mystery request, yes.
放了那个叫啥，放了装饰品，所以它会特地增大一块地方，直接在那个地方让我。可能啊，可能，我不是很确定。可以像船员一样丢出来吗？不，卡尔是你可以操控的。
There it is. I was waiting for that moment.
我可以给他拿太史公了，那没准
small
儿。
clip of a dev build gameplay just to give people a look into what Call might be going through. So this is dev build with
对啊，你看
Call has found
你
himself
在这操纵它，然后
you might
不能拿
recognize.
克林斯
He。managed to get a jetpack and he must free his brother here. So this whole fiction and everywhere you're going to go with Call is going to involve what is he going to do against the sentience? And what can he, as one Grenier alone, do? Well, as he rescues his brothers, he'll find that he has the power to, command them and get them to do different things. Carrie, your art sensibilities are going to tingle because I'm actually showing something.
哦，
graceful
卡尔
here.
成为那个机器的一个指挥官这种等级了。反正，当你拯救了他的那个同伴之后，你可以指挥他的同伴。
Maybe this new character back over here on the gameplay side. This character on my screen here, Dean, might have some things for you to grab week over week, depending on how far you advance. every time you do a call weekly, you'll push the call garrison forward, and this is where Styanax will be for the free path once we're done with his campaign, and once we're done.
当你完成了这个之后，或者当你完成任务之后，卡尔会有一个每周任务，所以说你来每周任务这里做卡尔的任务，解救他的兄弟，你的集团声望等级会越来越高。旁边的那个 Chipper 是不是叫？对 ，Chipper 应该是管他等级的那一个。当等级越高，你应该可以解锁更多的东西。应该是这个意思。
We're going to introduce Archon Hunts, which is the Warframe gameplay for Veilbreaker, the Warframe system, which essentially, once you've got the quest complete, which is a shorter quest for Veilbreaker, you're going to unlock something.
然后 Archon 这个应该是属于那种每周的赏金吧。
Every week, you're going to get the intel on a new Archon that has a new
每周的那个每周的那个叫啥？每周突击，每周的突击。然后那个对，新的战甲，如果你不能免费获取的话，就会变成在那个集团里，卡尔集团那里获取。它掉落上 Legendary Core。Content
that we really want you to think about what loadout you're going to bring.
Granted award, Azure Archon Shard.
So we have some restrictions just to change it up. These are weekly, so if you can't do it the first day, you have all week to try and, refine your build.
这是精英突击。
You get a squad to help you, but you'll get bonuses for certain gear, and then there's also restrictions where respawns you can't self-revive. Really, co-op reviving.
不能自己复活 last square penalty.
With your squad so that you can all stay together, advance together through the mission. And then consumables, similar to Steel Path, they have a cooldown.
没有办法使用 Q， 没有办法使用物品栏，然后我直接杀甲突过去，你看我直接杀甲突过去，大甲史诗级加强。
They are tough, and they are meant to be tough missions. So, okay. So if you play the new war, by the time you get to fight,
没有办法复活，没有办法使用物品，什么杀甲史诗级加强。
There's a new flow, new mechanics for the final boss fight, the Archon Hunt itself. So you'll be going in, you'll have to discover how to get.
我不能复活，我只要不死就不会不能复活。
It's not just the drifter.
明白了，猴子吧，猴子布拉玛，你可别忘了布拉玛被削了，宝贝儿。
We don't want to do spoilers, but it will be different.
But it is meant to be more in the.
是的，这位艺术总监好像都没怎么说话哎，就在这边看着。什么观众？他还是被削，对呀，被削了呀，爆炸被砍了呀。
Something called the Azure Archon Shard.
对呀，Azure Archon Shard 是个啥呀？这个什么 Archon 碎片
？Upgrades for players. So every week, if you do your Archon Hunt, you will earn the corresponding Archon Shard. Which, when you're done the quest, you'll have the necessary equipment to use it. Which means that your helmet is getting more use.
大嘴又加了新东西。
For your given Warframe. So you can use your Azure Shard, or if you're lucky, you have a 20% chance.
对哦，这地方好像没有任何艺术总监就在那个 Styanax 出现的时候说了几句。
Which you can put your shards in. So for me, I have my Protea here, who I love dearly.
它会被动加强吗？这个
？Yeah, essentially it's a way to kind of. Focus on like the
上了它之后会变成啥样呢 ？A source of radiation, empowering syndicate life form, a synetic life forms, most notably Archons. 新甲有说什么时候可以获取吗？那个下个版本更新。下个版本更新登录免费获取。2个星期好像是。对啊，这个是执行关着水晶。增加22%血量。这是基础血量。每一个战甲都可以上是吧？
Also the gems, if you the shards, if you decide to, they can be.
新战甲免费，新战甲刚开始的那2个星期是免费的。 登陆获得，然后自带催化剂和曹尾。每一个战甲都，这是啥玩意儿？这是属于那种，这属于那种那个。对对，那个宝石那种那个啊，对对对对，那个香宝石网游，垃圾网游香宝石。对呀，不就这个吗？永久增应该是永久增强吧？真每一个，但是问题是每个战甲你都要刷呀。你可以选择增加血、增加护盾最大最大值，然后能量最大值、护甲和血量每秒回升。大同认的，哎，笑死了。这个应该是增加基础吧，但是你每周才会获得一个，就所以说你要镶完一整个，你都要1个多月。哦，对哦，为啥要介绍更多？哎，我不说这个行不行？不说这个行不行
？So if you put 5 of those, you can almost replace energize with that. So you basically could kind of free up your arcane slot, and basically you can kind of pick and choose which.
每一个战甲一套啊，宝贝儿，肯定是每个战甲一套，不可能共享。不可能共享，宝贝儿，这个是不可能共享的。地怎么会放过你的肝？
Say in the case of a frame that doesn't have a prime, if you've put all these shards in that frame and the prime comes out, you'll be able to get it back. There will be a little bit of friction. Right now it's using a Helminth resource, so that's still under review for what we're going to do there. But we know
然后如果拿下来的话，需要一些东西。现在的这个是个假的，好吧？这个资源是个假的，他们说只是个 placeholder。
And the only other note is.
然后这个东西只能打每周突击来获得。有时候爆炸武器看了。
The weekly Archon Hunts, where you're going to be doing that final boss fight with an Archon to take their shard, but Call might have got 1 or 2 things up his sleeve, so you can kind of engage systems to get yourself those.
5个位置可以放一样的水晶吗？应该不可以。
We have Stynax, we have Call with his Veil-breaking weeklies, we have the Archon Hunts, which are predicated by playing through the Veil-breaker kickoff, and then you'll be kind of on your way to explore all the quality of life changes. We have tons of new skins, we have tons, like more QOL than I think we even covered on this stream, and we're already running, you know, what else do we have there? Oh yeah. Yeah, so we talked about all of that.
老手跟新手差距更大了，是的。
Yeah, we're doing part 2. We're doing L to R.
对啊，这这个说过了，这个说过了。Armor 护甲改动是啥？
You talked about armor changes in terms of stripping from
哦，波甲改动，护甲。
My friendly artists who came here.
You can talk about last Gasp, because I see that we forgot to talk about that.
Yeah, so last Gasp, I'll just go over it super quickly.
Carrie knows one.
Carrie, you want to talk about last Gasp?
Maybe the art of last Gasp. No, sorry. Basically, it's gonna, instead of the meter starting at 50%, it's going to start at 0%, but there's going to be no initial drain. Instead, the initial drain will start after a few seconds.
Last Gasp 最后之握是哪一个？
It's going to refill that meter completely, and killing enemies is going to fill the meter by a third each time.
Yeah, it feels fast, like it fills out the meter faster, and you don't have that initial, like, you know, before it started half and immediately started to drain, so you almost felt like you were, like, you felt like you were falling behind immediately. This gives you a little bit of time to like come up, start killing, and then come back. I feel it's
Last Gasp 那是哪一个？哪一个技能啊？为什么上面会讲到射入字卡涨价？因为悟空会分享你的弹药了，热度是无限弹药的。
Ongoing things, because as I'm sure Chad has noticed, we are a different group up here now, and obviously at TennoCon we announced some team changes. So all of us have been working on Warframe for at least 10 years, or 9 to 10 years, I think.
Probably.
So we all
I think we're all relatively day one folks.
Carrie, your Zephyr skin has never seen the light of day. What do you?
Really hasn't.
Yeah. What's gonna happen there?
Let's dust it off. Let's bring it back.
No, we have a lot of awesome people on the team, so that should be able to see the light of day someday.
And if you, I don't even know what you would Google to see that, but it was DevStream 7.
时间限制太痛苦，是的。
It was got an art panel and Jeff.
哦，对哦，我还不知道这个宝石能不能交易。 宝贝儿们，没准这个宝石可以交易呢。
No regret.
啊，应该不会了。如果宝石能交易，那也太憨批了。
Same old faces as well. So,
但没准呢。
Our team
What
has,
if?
At least the character team has grown in the past few months, definitely. So, only better, greater things, and we're working on improving a lot of our.
没准还没如果可以交易。
Stuff. So even on the aesthetics end, I think a lot of good things to look forward to.
Absolutely.
So
a
yeah,
lot of the new folks like jumped in right going into TennoCon and were able to help get us over those last hurdles. So things seem to be coming together really well.
I think so. Yeah. Gotta stay positive, correct?
I mean, we have like years of stuff to catch up on.
为啥画质变拉了？
For a long time, we've been talking about crossplay
没事，一会儿应该就好了吧？
trials and these things, and I just kind of wanted to get now that we have a new team structure and we're working. The latest news on everything that you might have been waiting for word on year over year, just from my current point of view. So Pablo's looking at me with like, what the hell are you going to say about raids and trials? But it's my turn to surprise you, I think. Pablo himself, and no, I'm just joking. No, but I wanted to talk about crossplay, cross-save, raids, trials, just general talking points.
然后一些其他东西。
If you've been with the Warframe community for a long time, usually Steve would say something about these things, and now I'm going to.
Now it's you.
I'm going to give you where things are and what we're going to do. First of all, I'm going to talk about raids and trials. This is something that I, played back in the day, Megan and I, the team, and I think earlier in the year we talked about wanting to bring them back, but we're not going to talk about this or have anything to share until our Veilbreaker objectives are complete and our Duviri Paradox is complete. So don't expect to hear about those for a little bit. We still care about them deeply, and we think that they are an interesting thing to try and explore. But there's nothing to share about it.
8人报，目前在地的懂的都懂，好吧？目前在复活的过程中，但是地不会向我们揭露更多的东西，直到他们完成破障者这个更新。
Get some bearings about like okay where is this what could we actually do and essentially
他们现在还在一个概念的阶段，就是说怎么改成什么样。
Look at this until next year because this year we just have too much.
有什么新东西，有什么老东西。
There maybe is something we could talk about this year, and that's crossplay. So that is an engineering feat.
然后跨平台。
All these systems we're adding, it'd be nice if you had a bigger pool of players to play with across all platforms. And we are, like we said at TennoCon, in the testing phase of kicking off something for crossplay, which we will announce the full community details of pretty soon, so that you know what to expect. Because this is very much a test the tech, and we got to test it live, so we'll have extremely organized tests for crossplay. Like we mentioned,
跨平台的测试马上上。
We are getting close, and once crossplay is in a spot where we feel like we can turn it on, cross-save work will follow. So that's the order of operations there.
但是先会上跨平台游玩，然后上跨平台储存。
Team in terms of tech for Warframe right now. So where Steve would usually tell you something about deferred all of the updates with their engine and deferred rendering, and what does that mean if you can't run deferred? That'll come in future dev streams, but from a tech point of view, it's really the biggest priority, and we're really hoping to.
We want to get it right, so.
Yeah, we don't want you to lose your accounts in the metaverse.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
Could you imagine?
We don't want Mark Zuckerberg to steal your account, all right? We have to be really careful. So would it really be like a creative?
看到宝石又要骂腾讯，有点真实。
Keep going. What else you got?
I don't know.
What else can we get in trouble?
There's no end to trouble I could get us into. So.
那个三蜘蛛，要不然。
You have to deal with it all.
Yeah, I'm making notes.
You've got the keys to the car now.
How many PSAs am I writing?
啊，创始人包复活那也太离谱了吧
！Not going to steal your account. And then I think just the other general thing. Oh, Prime Resurgence. We will have more news about that system as well. That was something we launched last year as a Prime Vault test replacement, and the team has put a lot of effort into what it could look like, and there will be full announcements on that. I just wanted to acknowledge
Prime 重生
I see a lot of questions about it. And then I think the last thing is just sort of an overview talking point on the test cluster.
可能
When COVID started, we were all at home. We were like, how are we going to work with this? And we kicked off the semi-public test cluster, which was great, and it worked well. It was a lot more work than we expected. It was still good. It got good results. And then we started simul shipping. And if you're tracking on a calendar when the public test stuff started to wind down and when we started doing coordinated releases across all platforms, there's a very clear correlation between when one ended and one began. And for that reason, I'm still looking into a way to try and use it, but that doesn't override the very meticulous planning we have to do with our builds to have a simultaneous release for all players. I don't want this to sound like an excuse.
然后
It's not
公测
literally
现在
just
在
this problem, and
考
a
虑
lot of players
搞
are
一些
probably gonna
东西
wonder, like, why aren't you using the public
考虑
press
就是说
for
重新使用
Gilding
公
Changes
测
and
功能
stuff, and it's a logistic issue. To have any updates this year, we have to decide how we can bring this back in with our new methodology for actually releasing and deploying builds across all platforms. So looking into it,
应该是
trying
这
to
样
plan,
我不是很理解他在想
things
说
are
啥
perfect, we could do it every time, but the reality is it's very, now that I'm sitting on this side of the chair, it's very hard. But because this is something that we kicked off as a team during COVID and we liked it, it's still something that we want to do, but we also know that there are a million reasons now why we can't.
Yeah,
every
the,
time.
the needs of simultaneous ship across all the different consoles, on the different platforms, and the needs of the test cluster go like kind of directly against each
Yeah.
other. And what lives on top of simultaneous ship is crossplay and cross-save, right?
Yes.
If you don't have simultaneous ship, these two things
Crossplay and
just fall
cross-save
apart.
do not work.
So we need to keep doing that. So that
就是
gets
先
us
搞
into this problem. We really for this one.
先
I
搞
think
联
so
机
far
再搞
the
联
gigantic
联
list of
存
the changes, since it wasn't like just one change, it was a whole bunch of things. We would have
再
loved
来个
to be
宝
able
石
to do
Prime
it
完全有
faster.
可能，哎，那
But
也有点不太可能，
that
这样
would
好
have
像变成
meant
充钱
that
游戏
the
了。
simultaneous ship.
Yeah, there's
It
sort
was
of like,
problematic.
we accrue all of these things when we try new things all the time, and it's like, well, what about this? What about that? And then you start to realize, like, well, in order to get anything done, we need to make some choices. And as your new creative director, I'm going to try and make the best choices for the community and the game. Sometimes you might not agree with me. I hope for the most time you can at least understand my reasoning, and I'll be happy. But in this case, for cross-play and cross-save stuff to happen, that simultaneous ship had to happen, and those are the types of decisions that push the entire community forward. And all things considered, we do hotfix a lot, and after these changes that we outlined in the stream are in your hands, we will continue to do just that. We're going to be evaluating closely. We have a lot of stats and data, and of course,
如果
player feedback.
布拉玛被砍范围上重火镜会不会好啊？烈风暴我个人觉得还是会好一些。
Everything we've shown today,
重火镜也
those,
行吧。
Archon fights will be waiting for you with your, maybe your best gear, your worst gear, whatever you want to throw at it, you can figure it out. You have a week to do it every week before it clicks over to the next hunt. So, yeah. That's kind of the Veilbreaker dev stream. The longest dev stream
Oh
we've
my
ever
lord,
done.
almost 2
Have we-
hours.
have we
almost
hit
2
a record
hours.
yet?
Yeah.
I'm sinking into my own
只是尝试换成重火
That
镜
was。
That sweater was a
What's going
bad
on?
choice, Megan.
Those are
I'm
very
Brie,
bright
I'm-
lights.
Yeah.
I actually thought
航
about,
线
about the the professional setup and the lights, and I thought I should not wear a hoodie. I should definitely just wear a shirt because, yeah.
航线换成重火镜，你可以试一
Is
试。
that everything?
What?
A skin? Oh, the Stein X Void Shell? No. There's a skin we haven't shown?
啊，后面提醒他还有个皮肤没给我们看。
Key art. For Portia? Oh, show the key art.
All of us are like, what the hell is
I know, it's
going
so
on?
Wow, I
Is
thought
Dean
that
about
was
to
that a
announce
bit?
Yay!
Ah.
Calidris,
Sure.
and then, yeah, the concept art is like Red was talking about way back in the day. We
概念图你还没有给我们看。
incredible Protea Deluxe concept art, and from that, the team was able to.
宝石资源，那宝石加的好像都是生存能力。
thought Dean was gonna do a little trick and show us the Zaku Deluxe skin, which I actually, this is the perfect.
啊
Because the art team gets to talk.
Oh boy.
Zaku Deluxe, eh?
Yeah.
哦，Zaku 华丽
that's
外
in
观
progress. That is in
啊
progress.，
Yeah.
在做了。
But yeah, actually, honestly, we have, being able to add so many more fresh new faces into our team, we're able to look at the long-term schedule and really, I think we feel confident hitting those marks of we'll have all these deluxes coming in, and the void shells are really taking a life of their own, and so it's really refreshing to have.
不会把更新的东西9月更新。
team to be able to support
手上的饰品是
So,
特效，是他
yeah, and
第一
of
技
course,
能丢出去的那个
new
球，
management,
应该是
uh,
那个球。
Turn it all down, kids.
No, I think it's really, really exciting. I think
Can we
Yeah.
say when we're planning to release Zaku Deluxe? Do you know?
I think I know. Am I allowed to say?
Why not?
I think the last time, the last conversations we had in our internal trackers were maybe
No, that's for internal, I think.
Is that for internal?
Yeah, I think that's yeah.
So that would be probably
say whatever you want. It's a dev stream. There's no rules.
Ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Go.
Yeah.
It's not coming out in October.
I don't think it's coming in October, but it's they're well on their way, I think now. So they're in really good hands, and can we say before the end of the year? Probably not, right?
Hell yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Probably. I mean, it's
anything can happen.
There's another significant update.
9月没事，9月我可有时间干了。我明天考完试就放假，我放到9月底。
This is able to get shipped right on the heels of TennoCon, but that's always the case, isn't it? It's always
希望他不要在我开学那个底啊把更新给我扔出来。
Oh boy, we got lots of work to do, but the team is obviously the one bringing everything to the table that we showed you today. So we're just here to show off their work and get it in your hands, Tenno, and we'll keep you appraised of anything that is relevant.
Speaking of
confident,
relevant,
there will be extensive quality of life improvement.
Yeah,
that's right.
a lot. Before we go, let's do a core prime access.
Oh!
And one more platinum.
I'm taking this.
I'll do it really quick.
好了，这些应该就基本上差不多了。今天的开发者直播，好多的东西。
1,000 platinum. Who is it?
Oh, Billy.
Oh, Billy.
L-Y-Y.
Oh, Billy.
Oh, Billy.
You've won 1,000 platinum. Please whisper. The Warframe Twitch channel you're watching right now. 3 game.
说实话，我都无语了，我都反应不过来要讲什么。
Core Prime Access.
Dynax 那个动画，我应该就不会水视频加进去了。
At least 4.
We let our artists read at Digital Extremes, so this is fair.
Oh boy.
Bunny After Dark.
Whoa!
Bunny After Dark.
What kind of Twitch stream is that? Congratulations, you won Core Prime Access. Please whisper the Warframe Twitch channel you're watching right now. 3 game alias and
现在有5万的人在看。画面左边的那俩是视频吗
No, great. No, it's made of multiplayer. But use the code Stynex in game and get yourself a wonderful Karoo-made display for Stynex to celebrate our 50th Warframe that's coming in.
他们定制的电脑如何了？他们定制那个电脑好像是从国内的某个视频制作者那里发出去的，他做的。
So everything that you just saw today will be in Veilbreaker.
对，所以你今天看到的所有东西都在破障者里面。
3 months away.
啊，然后又卡了，我家网掉包应该是。
It's only June.
Oh, yeah.
Right, Carrie?
TennoCon's
I
next
bloody
week.
well hope so, yes.
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic.
We have lots
Don't go that far back, because then we gotta do TennoCon.
Oh, right. That's fine.
That's right.
TennoCon was totally easy. It was actually really fun because the internet for the entire province or country rather didn't
Oh
go
yes,
out.
it was
Yeah.
problem-free, no
Yeah.
glitches. You
Yeah.
know, it wasn't as if the gods were against us. Or
Yeah,
anything.
I had to run across the city
Yes.
to.
You went to listen.
Yeah, I went to colleagues
yes.
or our senior producers or
Knocking on
backyard,
doors,
and
use
yeah,
that internet.
can I borrow your Wi-Fi? Yeah, that was a fun time.
All right.
都抽中了推着啊！
Thank you to everyone for watching. I almost like.
那反正以上就是本次的开发者直播了。如果你
Is it only 3 minutes left?
3 minutes left till 4
Carrie,
o'clock.
tell us your favorite environment because like your history with the game.
It was buried.
如果你不在乎的话，那么现在其实就可以关了。我呢去把那个
Favorite art?
东西给打了它。
Good lord.
就是啊，那个
memorable and most favorite are two different things.
Oh.
新的警报给打了它，然后我也就下了。
Okay, yes, not the
我还要做视频，不过做视频之前我先吃点东西。
Yep, good times.
I mean, everybody always says like when the doors open at PoE,
我先
right?
吃点东西。
Kind of cliche, but that one's a bit of a given.
哎呀，
really.
我卡住了。
Yeah, I just switched into the environment role a few months beforehand, so that was kind of like, oh, that worked out okay.
扎里曼 PC，哦。
Good. Railjack out of the clouds was kind of cool too. It's like, oh look, the landscape didn't break. Wow, and they actually put something else in it. It still didn't break. It was amazing.
It's nice
Game
to not
capture.
It's
Yeah.
luxury, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think
这个，然
for
后
those of you that love Steve,
现在应该看得到了。
that's probably gonna be your mantle now, Carrie.
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah, you're the yeah.
防御
Yeah,
挖
all the
掘
stuff that Steve showed off, the assets had to come from somewhere.
Which is mainly
Make
not
me
I just
ill
want
3个
people
form
who actually do it
玩
have
PT
the
我就不管
exclusive. Yes.
爱咋样咋样。
Direct the art. It's that.
那么，既然悟空和爆炸武器要消了，我们要玩点什么呢？
I can share a story.
Oh, is it a Warframe story?
It is not really a Warframe story.
Okay.
I think to bring us into the 2 hours? We want to break the 4 hour mark, right? Or 2 hour mark.
We don't want to break the forum.
直播的音乐还是对啊，我没关直播。
This industry being very, very small, but Pablo and I actually used to work.
我可以把它关死，不想听吗？不想听，关死。
A decade ago, we worked. Can I share that story? Pablo?
Yeah,
然后卡住
There's
了，
no hurt
This is
feelings.
begging for good.
要关死。 现在只有我性感的声音，你们没有别人的。
We're here in search of lost artifacts and items buried deep below the surface. The scanner has picked up.
哎呀，
Go to the dig site.
一看到爆炸武器被消了之后，我用起来爆炸更舒服了。太无脑了。 爆炸武器不就是这样的吗？
Protect the unit while it extracts the artifact.
还有个李明博可还行，但李明博不用他2吗？啊，一个电池人都没有吗？
The excavator has lost power.
一个电池人都没有啊！别吧！这是什么新 bug 呀？真的一个电池怪都没有吗？啊？不是我瞎是吧？就是真的没有。
An artifact has been located. Proceed to the dig site.
哦，有，他们加了一个啊，来了。
Excavator is ready to go. Keep it powered and protect it from enemy fire.
现在都出来了。最后的疯狂，是的，现在爆炸武器能爽就爽吧，以后就爽不到了。不是以后爽，很快你就爽不到了。
Go to the dig site.
如果你不知道的话，指挥官可以捡电池的。 所以你就可以这样，然后在这边传过来，再加2个电池了。砍这么多，我觉得砍的还不多，就主要不知道那个弹药获取砍成啥样了。啊？啊？这，哼，行吧，太。 什么贴图问题？我的那个悟空的那个贴图也没了。哇，这个黑的好讨厌，我都不知道它界限在哪儿。砍的也不是那么多吧，这有点砍。
Watch the security systems. Excavator deployed. Protect the unit while it extracts the artifact.
Killed someone. Killed someone.
你被 AOE 杀死敌人不会掉啊？是吗？我没有看那一部分。反正重播我那个直播也要重看一遍的，因为做视频。哎呀。 但如果这个改的话，他们都改的挺聪明的。被 AOE 杀死的敌人不会掉弹药了，确实，爆炸的时候全都炸没了哈。这个也得不合理中透露着一丝合理。 好吧，不合理中透露了一丝合理。因为你老在那爆炸，所以弹药也炸没了。我只能说不合理中透露了一丝合理。直接飞过去好了，我应该早点飞过去了。以后就是挨炮的天下了，还真有可能。嗯？哦干！我说我怎么这么热？我把锁定按成了关死。会有爆炸物质把它炸掉，没准儿。没准儿呢。如果爆炸武器不能获得弹药的话，那这一波是好砍。这一波好砍，我只能说，砍挺核心的。这么一砍，恶心到很多人啊。这一看恶心到很多人。挨炮是哪一个？就是毒什么？哎呀，我天，那个字我好像都不是很记得，记得了我好像也不会读，所以我一直读挨炮的。喂，哎，飞过头了。做个动作，电浆炮算爆炸武器吗？算啊。哦，爆炸武器嘛，我个人觉得算的。有爆炸的都算爆炸武器，它只是死的时候所有的影响嘛。诸葛连弩算，应该算。烈焰风暴也没啥用，就是个别爆炸武器伤着好用，总体来说是没有太大用。啊，谢谢杜卡比，我想要杜卡比，最好在后面再给我加个0，谢谢。御风，我都不知道这是哪把武器。御风，我都不知道这算哪把武器。哎，但如果这样奏凯是不是？奏凯那个也算爆炸呀？我靠！3个月前他给我丢的快递，他们找到了，然后给我发了过来。可以白嫖一套工具，亚马逊款都退给我了。这不会了，真的整不会了。就是说，只要我觉得是啥被爆炸杀死的敌人。我觉得是被爆炸杀死的敌人不会掉落。如果他真的有这个的话，因为我没有听到这个。凤鸣，凤鸣是哪一个？
You must defend our equipment until reinforcements arrive.
太久，我查一下。哦，那个基佬战舰啊，机系的那个。G 系的那个枪 ，OK， 那个算爆炸，那个肯定算爆炸。奏凯有零化进哦，对哦，奏凯本来就不缺弹药，没事儿。这个是那个集团爆炸小丑，可是它有全自动，就是受到蓄力影响，你蓄力攻击死了敌人。它就不会掉弹药，你普通攻击它就会掉弹药。前提是掉弹药这玩意儿存在，因为我没有听到过。但是如应该真的存在了，因为报本都说了，所以它是2合1，所以我说是受爆炸影响。爆炸影响啊，这个会比较快的。Just 的飞盘应该不算，因为驱魔之刃这个是属于近战类型的武器，这个应该是只会被射击武器所影响。希望不要白挖热度，应该不会吧？我觉得不会有太大的问题。射度，反正我觉得射度就是新的悬崖关爱器了。啊，不是说悬崖关爱器，那个悟空关爱器，我在梦游。哦，最近我比较在乎的是主机，射入不知道会不会动到，不会吧？不会吧？动个锤子哦！说掉了是吗？我卡了呀！啊，搞好了，吓我一跳啊！泡泡枪，反正有爆炸的应该都算爆炸武器，只要被爆炸武器 击杀应该就不会掉子弹。哇，这什么魔幻大法呀！阿里乌也惨了，对的，阿里乌也记了。eBay， 我的eBay也没买啥呀，给我推荐了一堆贵到爆炸的高达，可以，这很eBay。不知道改动什么时候上？9月。他不上去吗？哦，他上去了。他飞起来了。有人说一这特效有点多，我的 FPS 只有60了，以前好歹有个100多的。哇，这太群魔乱舞了吧！减一减资源，因为就剩一波了。每天看猴子撒谎都看腻。确实，我每天也是不拉马撒谎，哎，天天玩儿，就天天玩儿。而且他们增加了实弹武器的爆头，这个也不错。以后实弹武器爆头更爽了。我还特意跳了一下，看来跳我应该往前 shift 啊。0伤害，这有恐鸟吗？是的。毒马女魔，哎，多多少少都会有点影响吧。啊，是个蓝图啊 ，Umbra Forma 的，那就是个蓝图吧。无新闻抢先浏览破障者，他出了个 ，Wait a sec， 等一下啊，宝贝们，等一下。算了，这直接关死好了，也没啥可上的。Alt F4，查看更多新闻。我把这改一下。破障者第50款战甲首次亮相，加速对卓越者有影响吗？没有，你可以自己看啊。衣冠鸟，游戏体验改动，虚空之壳外观啊，不对，就谈了这些，就这，我怎么感觉这里边有很多东西他们都没说呀？就比如说这里边应该有，这下面应该有东西的。我把它改成英文看一看。 哼，对呀。More Warframe augment buffs. Void Shell introduced by Excalibur, Wukong Nova and Stynax。对呀，下面有东西的，繁体会没有写，繁体也写了，那繁体也写了，但简体没有写。投掷炸弹外观啊，标枪外观 ，OK， 标枪外观这个理解。那投掷炸弹这个是啥呀？破障者在9月所有平台登场。投掷炸弹是个啥呀？我不理解，真的。啊，果然。不会就是这个吧？他说是什么炸弹？行吧，这个就应该是我下一个封面了。我那个视频的封面了。好的，各位宝贝们，感谢你的收看，这是一个非常久的开发者直播。我估计真的简体把这个字都给剪没了。我估计休息，吃点东西，因为我还没吃饭，刚起来。休息之后然后再做这个视频，我可能得做一阵子了。我不知道，可能得3、4个小时以后我才能发出来。那么各位也休息，对吧？该睡的睡，该梦游的梦游。等你们起来的时候，估计做完了，估计应该可能。感谢各位宝宝收看，祝大家有一个愉快的一天。那么再次说一下，等等，有个东西我还没有看我得把 Warframe 重新登一下。那个 Stynax 不是说有一个外观可以免费领吗？不是外观，要穿这装饰可以免费领吗？那个我还没有看。除了这个还有啥 ？Stynax 免费送，白嫖，梦游，算了，最后再看一看这个，然后我就下了吧。完了，密码输错了。又说错了，是的。啊？我按错啥了吗？海报吗？是一个。卡住了，谢谢你第一，我又卡住了。OK。Nowhere to hide。这怎么拼的来着？替换码 Stynax。OK， 我截个图。这是一个图片而已，行吧，不要白不要。那么你也可以，你在那里输入 Stynax 便可免费获得。感谢各位宝宝收看，祝大家有个愉快的一天。那么我溜了，拜拜。我这关着那个键在哪儿来着？那么拜拜。